Hello,
Hi.
Mover.
Hold on. I'm trying to get the Luna Cam set up and I found some stuff on the floor. There she is.
There she is.
Hi.
Luna.
She's like, where do I look?
Yeah.
This new setup.
New
She's like, I heard you guys needed another guest.
Well,
it can't just be the two of you.
Luna, it is.
Yeah. She has nothing to say on any topics, however.
That's probably smart.
She's the smartest guest we've ever had.
She doesn't want to get canceled, so she's just going to sit here and nap.
She doesn't like
public
the
image.
She doesn't like the comments. So
she doesn't read the comments. She
funny.
doesn't care. She's not interested in anything we have to say.
Which is valid.
Yeah. All right, Luna. Good night.
Good night.
Anyway, hey, Gonky.
Hello, Mover. How are you?
We're on the wrong side. There you go. Fixed it.
There we go. Yeah.
It is a new day. This is the first time we've been together, so to speak, by ourselves, just us. And you are. What, are we going to reveal your medical conditions? Is it a HIPAA violation?
Well, thanks for asking about my week, Mover. So I'll just tell you.
By the way, my internet's not fixed. I see the little dot. So if I blank in and out, it's Spectrum. They lied. They said August 9th and they lied.
Oh, man. It's a price you pay for
like a government operation is what that is. Anyway, how are you? Tell me about your day.
Well, my day was fine. So my son had a pretty nasty fever on Friday, and
was the only prescription more cowbell?
Yeah, exactly. No, dude, he was out. I mean, it's weird. It's so funny because, and Doug, you could probably relate, but my house is like complete chaos when he's like normal, and he was just sleeping on the couch. It was so quiet. We like looked at one another like, this is weird. like why does it make some noise
when it's not there?
Yeah,
too much, too quiet.
Yeah. So we had one day of peace, and then he was fine, and then we were Saturday he lay low, and then Sunday we rode some motorcycles. But I went into work today, and yeah, I could start to tell throughout the day. I was like, oh man, maybe I caught a little something from him. So I got a little bit of coffee to help me get through get through today. But it's been a good week, man.
Is it Irish coffee?
Yeah. The party might get a little.
We're gonna get Dronky. Dronky's gonna make an appearance.
You don't want Dronky, that's for sure. Exactly, especially with just a section, just a 2-ship here, it'd be bad.
We would need Wombat to filibuster you.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, Gonky, go home. We got this. So, yeah, but other than that, it's been good, man. How about you, Mover? What's been going on in the land of Mover? Anything exciting?
No. Nothing at all, actually.
Really?
There's absolutely nothing going on. Is there something?
No helicoptering? No.
Helicopter is down for maintenance. All of them. All 3 of them. All 3 helicopters. The OH-6 is supposed to be coming back soon. Knock on wood. It's only been over a year. Well, 3 years since it's flown. The 58 went down for its annual maintenance. Said a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the 44 also went down for maintenance, and I still haven't gotten whether I can rent that thing or borrow it or whatever. So yeah, dude, I'm a flightless bird. Got DCS, got the Pimax Super I've been trying out, so I've been nerding on that thing. It's not bad. It's got the standard setup thrash. Doug, you can attest. Or I would hope you can attest.
VR is not ready for prime time.
Everything is it's just a red ass. It doesn't matter if it's not Pimax specific. It's everything. Like anytime I do any kind of PC gaming, I'm like, it's going to be a thing. Like something's not going to work. Something's going to crash. It's always something. Like it's just never just show up and go up, which I knew that. I mean, I used to, when I worked for a contractor as a field engineer, I this is exactly what you would go through. Is like you had all these projectors, and then one computer would go down, and you're like, oh, come on, really? But that's why you got paid the big bucks, $45,000 a year back then.
Really,
dude? As a college kid,
that's actually back.
That was my first job out of college. Yeah,
probably making more than I was back then.
About a house.
That's not terrible. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Doug,
Sir,
your status.
I am trying to stay awake, just like Gonky.
Dude, a little iced coffee, man.
What is wrong with you guys? Y'all
Dude,
know
I
the
don't
show
know.
starts at 7. We know.
Tell
If I
that to the
drink iced
crud.
coffee at this time of night, I'll be waking you up at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
This
dude.
is your fault.
You know what we need to start soliciting, though? Speaking of nerd ops, we need to find somebody that can host another DCS tournament, so we can do that. Because Special was asking about that the other day.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Like, that was a lot of fun to come on there and basically be commentators like we did during the tournament. That was a good time.
Yeah, so that's
It
what
got a
we
lot
need
of engagement. I watched it live, and people were just complaining about you guys the whole time.
complaining. What is there to complain about? We're awesome.
That's absolutely, that was the point I made in the chat.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. It raised some money for a good cause, and I can't remember the guy that the call sign of the gentleman that won it, but remember Mover, we brought him on, and we brought him on and we're chatting with him, and like the thing that struck me about him is he went about DCS very much like we went about being real fighter pilots, as far as studying things and paying attention to things. I remember when he was talking.
You studied things and paid attention to things as a real fighter pilot?
I tried, put the thing on the thing and then press the thing. I could at least do that.
I find in DCS is I can't, well, not that I was probably great in the air, but I was a lot better, I felt like, with gun mech. It just is so hard to stabilize. Like those dudes in those tournaments that could actually do it have my respect, because it is so much harder. I think DCS is harder than real life.
I agree, because there's no feedback from the airplane, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no feel, right? It's an
yeah.
I'm terrible at it in DCS.
Well, you had a rocking chair.
Yeah, but it's not the same, man. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I was like the Zen master of gunning in real life either. It took me a solid year of just spraying and praying.
And it's such a it's a fleeting skill, right? I mean, it's very perishable, and it's useless in like for what you do the majority of the time, right? So it's not something that you practice a lot, because it's such, like, I don't know. BFA 204 was so much different, but in the Air Force, most of your high aspect sets were 2 shots of missiles. You'd go to a logical. Now, granted, you do CT and you're with your buddy. We're going to go to the gun, but the learning what you trained to was missile shots. It wasn't the gun. So whether you gunned or not, which I am still butthurt about IFF. What was that? 20 years ago now?
Let it go, dude.
I ran out of bullets. I ran out of bullets. I did that in DCS the other day. I ran out of bullets. I run out of bullets. That's what I do. I just hold the trigger down until I run out of bullets. But I had bullets on the dude, and he hooked me for that ride. He's like, "You ran out of bullets." And I'm like, "Yeah, but they were valid shots." He's like, "But you ran out of bullets." And I'm like, "But who cares? They were valid shots." He's like, "But you ran out of bullets." I'm like, "This is a T-38. There's no bullets. There's no gun."
Was he an Eagle guy?
No, he's a Viper dude.
Well,
so when we say in the video game that they don't pay us to bring them home, we're actually wrong.
I ran out of bullets. Well, I ran out of bullets midstream, like as I'm shooting the guy, so that they didn't, they didn't all count, even though I was getting bullets at target range on, which I don't think they have batter in a tier. Anyway, they would have been valid shots if I'd have had bullets remaining, but I didn't have bullets remaining.
Wait a minute. In a T-38, in an airplane that has no gun.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
That makes no sense.
The whole point of IFF, and this still chaps me because I think that program, whatever. But the whole point of IFF, if you were an instructor, now being salty and crusty as I am, the whole point was for you as a student to go out there and demonstrate that you could safely do fighter pilot stuff. Not tactics, not excellent BFM. It was that, could you go out there and do the setup? Could you go out there and be 2 miles on a 9K. Could you go and just set it up correctly at the right airspeed, the right altitude? One's ready, two's ready. Fights on, count down some ranges, do somewhat of a turn circle entry, fight, call a kill, knock it off. Don't violate any training rules. Set up again expeditiously between sets. And it's an admin drill. It's a TAC admin. UPT would be your admin stuff. IFF would have been your TAC admin. Like, here's the stuff that you're going to need when you go to a fighter, so we don't have to spend all this time teaching you. I'm sure the Navy, same thing,
dude,
right?
When I was a legendary legacy IP VFA 125, the standard in fighter tactics was don't hit me, keep sight, don't shoot the bogey.
Yeah.
Like literally, like you said it perfectly, it's TAC admin drill. Then when I became a Super Hornet instructor, and I'm going to blame the Wizzos, and there was Wizzos involved.
Oh boy.
I mean, it was, the debriefs were completely different. It was like, well, your radar mech was out. In the and I'm just sitting there like, dude, he was with me at every merge. Like, he didn't lose sight. He wasn't an SA suck. Like, good. And then the guy, the Wizzo would hook him. I'm like, dude, what?
So this ride was T-38C. It was the solo offensive BFM ride, right? So I went out with this instructor, and we go out, we fight, we're walking back, and he's like, dude, you were awesome. That was great. You were always in position. We got so many extra sets because you were always there, whatever. And we go and we do the laptop debrief, the PCDS, where he pulls the lines in a T-38C. And he's like, your Fox 2 was invalid. By the way, we're training to aim 9 Papa. He's like, so your aspect was like 3 degrees outside the window. 3 degrees, right? Like, because we're eyeballing it. There's no sensors on this jet.
Oh, yeah.
So that was invalid. And your gun mech, you ran out of bullets here. Even though the rest of the shots would have been valid, you ran out of bullets per the little counter on here. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, totally missed the forest for the trees on this whole thing, because it was just supposed to be set up. It was just supposed to be admin. And I think lessons like that stick with you just because you were like, now every sortie, whether I was instructing or whether I was leading or whatever, I was looking at it and going, what is the purpose? What am I trying to get? And am I going to get bogged down in the minutia, or am I going to look at the big picture and see what the actual desired learning objectives really were?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. So there's always training objectives. Excuse me. There's always training objectives and obviously mission objectives. And like at the end of my debrief, I would always go through and check, be like, this one, goods, this one here, other, this one here, maybe bad. And I don't know, man. I wasn't there for your T-38 trauma event.
The worst part is I thought he was a Dos Gringo because he had the same call sign as one of them. And I was like, I thought I was flying with a Dos Gringo, dude. I didn't want to ask him.
Did you shred your CDs in anger afterwards?
He was a Viper guy, and I think he was either Trip or Snooze. I forget which, and I'm like, he was like staff from AETC. Yeah. He'd come over, fly attached. And I'm like, this guy, is he a Dos Gringo? Is he Trip?
Dude, that'd be horrible.
That? So the whole time I'm like, this guy. This celebrity is hooking me. And then after that, when I got to the real F-16, I wanted to take an F-16 back to IFF and fight it with a 9X. I wanted to be like, here's your high aspect shot. Show me where this aim 9 Papa matters.
Look, Mover, in any kind of training command event or scenario, the name of the game for me was survival. So I just survive. I don't care if I did great. I don't care if I did not so great, but
just
did
pass.
I survive? Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
am I here? Am I here tomorrow in the program? Am I still in?
Well, the kids these days will never know because IFF now is like kinder, gentler. They don't wash people out. They don't. I don't know. When I went through, it was a washout program, and that was part of it. I got in my head. That. I was convinced that I was going to be a statistic.
Yeah. But, well, you made it, dude. Look at you.
Sure did. We got some things from the audience. Stephen Billings, Air Godzilla says, "Rip Jim Lovell, commander of Apollos 8 and 13." Thoughts? That's true.
I saw that.
That is true.
I also saw that. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
What that must have been like.
Exactly.
I didn't know he was. I mean, it Had to be 1928, so he was pushing 100.
He was one of the guys that came back from a mission that might not have come back. He was commander.
Yeah,
That's
Lovell, right?
Yeah,
Apollo 13, right?
Yep.
Whole ass movie. Tom Hanks.
It's a great movie. It's one of my favorites, man. I love it.
High mover Gonky. I got tuberculosis. Bad reaction, says Wicked Spider Black. Dude,
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Thomas says, after a few bad days with a shoulder injury, great to see you guys. Where's Skid?
He's in the chat.
He's in the
no
chat.
points for second place is his current. I love Skid.
Tom says, no wombat. How will we know what to believe?
That's true.
Yeah. You'll have to decide for yourself.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to hopefully get to spend some time with Wombat here in a couple days. Sick. I know. That's why I'm, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm good, we're good. But
Dan O'Grady says, hope things are well. Became a father about 5 hours ago, and you're watching the show?
You
definitely
have a great
going
wife.
To instill to make them tell you no to mantra in my son. Is there any way to purchase signed copies of your book, Gonky, or just from Amazon? Signed
this
coloring
man
book.
is planning ahead.
Yeah, dude. Email me.
Gonky@gonky.com. Oh, there you go. Is that email still right?
I think so. I don't know.
You can go Gonky@themoverandgonky.com.
There we go. Perfect.
That's always an option.
Congratulations, by the way. Your life will never be the same. It's awesome.
Thanks, Thomas, for Luna Girl.
He's out, dude.
She's done, dude. She's in snooze mode. Emerald Cactus says, let's say you're an F-35 pilot and have to bail out over water. How long are you expected to hold on to that helmet?
Dude.
For the record, Emerald gave us a separate super chat that had no topic, so I picked that one.
I know.
Perfect.
That's what I just.
Perfect.
That's why I clicked.
Right away. I ditched that thing. Probably heavy.
It probably has special powers.
You think so? Does it turn into a life raft? I mean, do you press the button and it
might keep you afloat?
It might. I don't, dude. Is there styrofoam in it?
The AI starts debriefing you right away.
Yeah.
Telling you how horrible you are.
Or it shorts out and electrocutes you, puts you out of your misery.
Some fates are better than others. Nickaroni.
I love that.
Look at that puppy dog. Got my Mover and Gonky merch in the mail today. Wearing the long sleeve right now. Super comfy, and got the short sleeve. Going to be styling in public.
Wow. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's awesome. Pneumatic Elephant says, an idea for the mental health minute. Slowly put the chainsaw down so we can see it and turn around, sir. Mm-hmm. Jonas Boss. Hey guys, thanks for doing this every week. I just completed my first ever solo in a Cessna 150 a couple hours ago. Cool experience. First step of many.
That's awesome.
Sir, you should be in the debrief right now.
Why aren't you studying?
Thomas says, Mover went Winchester. Yeah. Pneumatic Elephant says, 556. 70th anniversary U2 flight happened last week. One of the pilots' call sign is Ultra Lord. What event may have earned him this call sign?
I don't know. That's an Air Force call sign.
Well, first of all, they're not fighter pilots. So it's like a KC-10 dude with a call sign, right? They don't necessarily adhere to the same naming conventions as a real fighter pilot.
Maybe in the Navy, if his first name was Richard. I don't know.
There's a girl on the Blue Angels called Bandcamp.
That's awesome.
I saw that the other day.
Wow.
I was like,
yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Somebody's got some kind of sense of humor.
Bandcamp, pull up. Bandcamp, pull up.
That's
Bandcamp, no.
That's the big thing, man. In the Air Force, the call signs are way too cool.
The rule in the Air Force is you're supposed to be able to yell it across the O Club bar.
Well, you can yell anything across the O Club bar.
Yeah, but you can't there's certain things.
Shave dog's ass.
Shave dog's ass. I don't want to go with the other ones.
Right. That's
all right, Gonky, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Admiral General Aladdin fought Saddam in 82. Was trying to film a Top Gun spinoff, but someone blew up my F-14. You guys know where I can get some? I contacted Grumman, won't answer me.
Yeah. I think we're all out here in good old US of A.
Call Tom Cruise himself. He'll know.
Yeah. He might lend you a P-51.
J Metal. What in? Hey guys, what's more real, aliens or Bigfoot? Bigfoot stole my lunch.
Yeah. Maybe Bigfoot.
Oh. Thomas says Luna treats and Tomcats. F-14 and F-16 always will be my faves. Thank you both and all service members for your service.
Thanks, Thomas.
Renee says Gonky from the nurse, Zycam and extra vitamin C.
Yeah, I've been on the vitamin C. That helps. Thank you.
Saw Luna in Pursuit and she's better at it than me. I asked Rock to animate a video and say that it was Luna's profile picture and show her driving, and it showed her in a Pursuit. So on her face or Instagram. Mickey Rat says, hi, Doug, Mover, Luna, Gonky. All three of you guys, which plane would you fly in a dogfight? Single seat Mach 2. All the same avionics. F4, F-15, F-16, F-18, Super Hornet, and real combat, clean guns only.
Well, we got to scratch off the Super Hornet. It will never reach Mach 2.
The F4 I'm not dogfighting with.
Yeah.
And I like women, so the F-15's out.
Well, yeah, valid. But I mean, but the real key here is the Mach 2 piece.
No, you don't have to. It could go Mach 2. Oh, you can't.
The Super Hornet won't go Mach 2, no.
Well, the Baby Hornet, the Legacy Hornet, 1.8, right?
That's the placard. I'm pretty sure I've heard rumors of faster, but yeah, I don't know. Given the safe bet, since Mach 2 is in there, I'm going F-16.
We have Douglas.
I'd have to buy another module, but F-16.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing this in DCS?
Well, I am.
It could be lethal for Doug if he tried it any other way.
You're not letting me on base.
Dude, yeah. Don't worry, Doug. I'd be just as dangerous. I have no formal training in the F-16, so.
Hey, you'll figure it out, dude. Flies just like a Hornet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just faster.
Stick doesn't move. That's the only thing. The stick doesn't move. Fabiano Lima says, did you guys read about the ATCO error using 737 MAX hit a maintenance truck in Brazil? Final report just came out.
What's ATCO error? ATC. Is that ATC or I don't know.
Air traffic control. Air traffic control, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard about this specific incident, but I mean, it is not really uncommon for ground equipment to run into airplanes to run into ground equipment. Heck, a 204 mover after we left, we had a a former commanding officer.
The hard stand. He hit the hard stand.
Crashed an F-18 into a hard stand.
Oh, yeah. What a guy.
Which is amazing to me. But
what a guy.
It's not uncommon. It happens. That's why, as Mover will tell you, anytime we're in big airplanes, there's, wing walkers, and it's part of our comm procedure, or our little spiel, clear right, clear left, right? Because airplanes they're not very graceful on the ground. They're kind of large and they hit stuff, and stuff hits them. So
you're correct, sir. Joe says, in deference to Wombat aliens,
we'll pass.
Lisa said, that's a pretty horse. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing? Are you able to tell stories of how you obtained your call sign? I wasn't sure if it's taboo to tell us. It cost a lot more than $10, Lisa.
Yeah. Listen, what episode is this? 69? If we want this one to be the last one, I will divulge my, but
no, you're the thing from Star Wars.
Like the droid.
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture of that around here somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's in the.
He's a handsome little droid.
Yeah. So it's, and Mover, because I like to move.
Now we got to give her money back, dude.
He likes to move it.
Yeah, I like to move it. I love when U-Haul drives by and it says Super Mover. And I'm like, yeah,
That's me.
that's me. It could be
There is a video on your channel about yours, right, Mover?
somewhere on there.
Yeah,
they
I
can
don't
go
have a
watch it.
direct link to it, but
They
I
can
think
look.
it's available.
Watch them all till you find it.
There you go.
Mhm.
We'll send you $10.
Yeah. Stevie Mo says, have either of you watched the American Fighter Pilot Series F-15 training at Tyndall? Filmed back in 2000, Tony Scott produced, available on YouTube. Yeah, and I wish they hadn't cut it short.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was a little
good.
tacky.
I still remember these are fighter pilots flaps, either up or down. I'm like, yep, that's the way they should be.
Yeah, I remember. All I remember is the one kid with the crotch rocket, and he was
Giggy.
Giggy, that's it. Giggy, yes.
You know, he went to the Lang.
Did he?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about him. I just remember that came
Had the
out.
hair, had the frosted tips or whatever that they
That's
made fun
right.
of in the show. The
Yeah.
B1 guy.
And I remember the sim instructor yelling at him something about an engine fire. I don't know. It was cool because it came out while I was actually advanced the first time I ever saw it.
Really?
Yeah, 2002.
See, I
And,
was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah. I think, was it filmed in 2000? I thought it was filmed in like 01 or 02 because, like I said, I first saw it when I was at Vance, and I thought it was cool.
I remember when it came out, and I was like, because we didn't have DVRs and stuff, so you have to sit down and watch it, or else, and I watched them all because it came out. I want to say it was around like the same time slot as like Jag. Yeah, and that was around the end of the Jag run. And Sarah
you're
McKenzie.
Right. Yeah, I guess my beef with it, because I was going through pilot training at the time, is I just think, like everything, they over dramatize stuff, which I'm of the opinion sometimes just the real stuff that goes on is interesting enough but maybe I'm alone in that camp. I don't know. But it's cool they did it.
Should have done it with a Viper. But I'll allow it. It had that cool 9 Inch Nails song too on the trailer. They're doing
have
BFM.
to watch it again.
Yeah. Jersey actually beat that in 2014 or 15. We're going to actually talk about Raytheon here a little bit, but Jersey, awesome dude who's an instructor, I think advanced, flew the Eagle at Kadena.
Mm-hmm.
And Raytheon used to have the Warfighter trophy that they would put out, so the winning squadron would do a video, and he did dude, it's like completely cinematic, and it's got like Bad Company with Five Finger Death Punch. You've never seen this video?
No, dude.
Dude, I'll find it because now I want to watch it.
Okay,
and I will send you the link.
Yeah,
for you to watch as you're dying from whatever illness this is.
Nah, I'm gonna recover. I'm on the recovery. That's what I'm telling myself. Not on the slide. I'm on the recovery.
Have the ladies of the house received this yet?
Not yet, dude. But they're stronger than me. Yeah. I'm the weak link.
Hey, let's do a topic.
Hit it.
You want to do a topic?
Yeah. What do we got?
Hold on. We got a wombat sighting. Second is there's a sweet new T-shirt design on my website, and also the old design has been updated to a better shirt.
That's true.
If there was a first rumor, I missed it.
There we go. Exactly.
www.matson.com. Hey, let's do a thing. Gonky, this one is you. Because I did this on my channel today and no one watched it. So let's see if it does better on this channel, Gonky.
What? Oh,
the Navy has a new. So they didn't really hint at it so much as Northrop Grumman put it on their website and said this is a concept image. And they took no questions. There's no amplifying data. But I guess there's an article written by Zona Militar.
Yes.
And this is the bad boy right here. So I guess they took the words off and enhanced the image. Your thoughts, sir? Please go with your expert analysis.
My expert analysis. Well, like you said, dude, they released a picture. When I see stuff like this, I'm always reminded about if you read a book about like the Tomcat, like at the very beginning, it's like, Grumman had 16 different designs, and like they have sketches of what they all look like. And like the first ones were like, okay, this is absolutely not what they ended up building. That's kind of what I thought when I first saw the sketch. I think this picture here that we're looking at is an older one, but the one at the very top.
Well, what we're looking at is an F-47.
Right. But the one at the very top, right?
That's the one on the website.
Right. So that one, hey, what stands out to me? Well, clearly it's stealthy. It looks fast. I know
it's stealthy.
I mean, look at it, right?
That's your expert analysis.
Well, I mean, what else? It's an artist rendition of a design.
How about that intake?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm getting there, right? So the intake's over on top of the wing, which I don't know. I mean, they don't have steam catapults anymore, so steam ingestion is not a thing. It would, I guess, intakes on the top would help during a trap. I blew up an F-18 motor because I trapped and there was debris in the LA in a landing area.
How much would you say you've cost the United States government with all your traps?
Yeah, I've tore up some stuff, landing gears, a couple overstresses. Exactly.
All right. Yeah. Continue with your.
But no, yeah, I trapped and there was a piece of metal in the landing area and it sucked it in the engine and blew a big ball of fire out the back. So, maybe this design, as long as it doesn't compromise the tactical performance of the airplane, it might help. Like the A-10, right? They mount the engines way up high so the thing could operate, off very unprepared surfaces. Yeah. So that's the F-47. The thing in this article that caught my eye was, number one, they've set aside some money for the FA-XX, apparently, with the 26 budget. And they also, it mentions in there there in blue, it says, along with the $647 million to continue continue procurement of the E-7 wedge tail for the Air Force. So remember we talked about like they had gone towards the E-2 vice the the E-7. Well,
yeah,
it looks
they were
like
going to pull Wombat out of retirement, bring him to the Air Force.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like the Department of Defense and Congress have adjusted their plans to F-47, but also for the Navy, FA-XX. And hey, by the way, we watched the clip on the Mover and Gonky show that the E-2 for the Air Force might not be a good idea. So let's go ahead and put
People
a couple.
watch this show, and all of a sudden things start happening.
Yeah, I'm always blown away, by the way, on who watches this show. But thank you.
We're sorry.
But yeah, so looks like maybe the future might look like F-47, FA-XX, and E-7 now, maybe, and B-21, right? So got the B-21 in there. So, overall, I think the FA-XX, man, is
bring it back. We got to get the expert analysis here. Show the picture. Back to the picture. We've ADD'd here.
Overall, I think the Navy does need their own future fighter. I think I'm of the opinion that the F-35 was a great idea, but I didn't, we bag on it a lot, but I don't think it worked well in actual execution. I mean, I would be willing to bet that there's an intake on the other side as well, because there's two engines on this airplane, because the Navy likes two engines when they're out at sea, which I get it. New engines are really reliable, but dude, unlike the F-16, right, you can do a precautionary approach. You can't do a precautionary approach at the ship. You just got to punch out. So two engines, definitely more options now. It could have two intakes, one engine. I don't know. But this picture, in my mind, tells me that they've probably gone back to some of the design philosophies that they used to have from the old days. So now I would like to see where the gun is mounted, before I'm really smiley face on this design. I'm really happy it only has one chair in it, which makes it nice. It's the perfect size passenger airplane as far as how many people it carries. But yeah, that's about it, man. We'll know more in the future. What do you think, Mover?
Well, I talked about it, and then I got some comments. Even though nobody watched, I did get to read the comments of the things that I got wrong to these people. You can't compare it to the J36 with the intake on top because that's apparently against everybody's religion. But it is similar in that the intake is on top, whether there's 2 or 1 intakes, which, I mean, this is a commonalities start to exist as you start, people are like, oh, hey, what's the best thing for stealth or to hide the signature or to hide the engine? So, all this stuff. Now, is that going to be good at high alpha? I don't know. That could be a thing. I also noticed that it's got a canopy bow. I don't understand the obsession with canopy bows. We're living the 2025, 2099 when this thing finally comes out. I feel like we don't need canopy bows anymore. It's just in the way. But is there a naval reason for this? Somebody said it's for rollover protection. Gonky, do you need a roll bar?
No, and sadly, there's been people killed in the Hornet when the plane link fails and the airplane rolls over. So there's no way
nobody wants to roll over in a jet.
No, that can't. The canopy bow is not a roll cage.
It's only for your mirrors.
I was gonna say
Navy dudes need to look at themselves.
Like that, dude. How am I gonna make sure my mask is on perfectly straight when my visor's down so I look the part?
Well, it's probably got a selfie cam.
Yeah,
like people don't use mirrors; they just use their phone now.
Yeah, maybe it's got iPhone holders. You just GoPro mount here, iPhone over here.
Yeah,
it's
got something. The other thing, obviously, it's got the weapons bay, which we were already kind of familiar with. Somebody said it looked kind of like the YF-23 had a baby with the B-21 because the B-21 kind of has the intakes and stuff, the spine like that. But in general, I would like to see the whole thing because this doesn't look like it's going to be that attractive.
Yeah.
Yet.
As a carrier guy, what I'm not jazzed about is how far back the nose gear is, because the Hornets like that. And one of the more nauseating feelings is when the director taxis you all the way to the edge of the ship and you are actually hanging over the side because the nose gear is behind you and he's trying to get you turned around. So,
well, look how long the schnoz is, dude. If you go all the way to the scupper, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
You've got 15 feet worth of airplane off the side.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like
thing,
it's not a comfy feeling, man, especially at night, because you get the nose out over there, and I don't know if this thing's gonna have a HUD or not, but it's pitch black, and all you see is the old velocity vector doing this. Oh. And that's your only visual reference. You're looking at the front, and it makes you want to puke in your mouth. But yeah, I mean these are little things. They got to put the nose gear where they're gonna put the nose gear. But like as a naval aviator, he used to read the flight schedule from the bottom up every day. I don't like that.
It looks fast.
It does, right? Because speed is a thing now, right? I mean, they want these modern fighters to do.
It also looks like a bad Photoshop job because it looks like they were trying to get rid of the words and they added the canopy back on top of itself because that little thing right there looks weird.
Yes, I was gonna ask. Maybe that's some sort of new technology that they are.
No, the original picture had words on it, and I think they removed the words. And AI, like this is what happens when you tell AI to remove the words.
Yeah,
because I don't remember that in the other picture that I looked at. But also noticed the day VFR day, so good. It's the only time we like to fly.
Yeah,
hopefully that's
Maybe it's not night capable. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. We don't need to fly at night or in bad weather.
I love it.
Yeah. All right.
Like you said, dude, in the year 2099, we will have a really good idea what this thing looks like.
Rip's kids will have. They're going to be like, my great grandpappy said that when you're too far over the edge, and they'll remember this show.
They will. I'm sure it's all archived.
Yeah, it's all archived. SecDef Rip will have fixed it.
Oh my gosh, let's hope not. Excuse me.
Let's see. Heatseeker says the FAXX better cause leadership to make facts jokes their Gen Z and alpha pilots won't understand. All facts, no printer. Right. Yeah, I think that's the way they say it.
I think kids here are like, what's a fax?
No, they have a thing. It's all facts, no printer.
Oh.
It's no cap, dude. No cap. Dan says, thanks, gents. And she watches the show sometimes too. Her favorite bird is the B2. Quite the
Nice.
advanced little tyke. Thomas says, what's more real, aliens or Bigfoot? We need Wombat for this.
Yeah.
Plot twist, Wombat is Bigfoot.
Ah.
I really don't feel like that's a huge plot twist.
Maybe Bigfoot
Wow.
is an alien. What if Bigfoot was an alien? Not of this world.
Like Alf?
There it is.
Like a tall Alf?
Yeah, alien life form, maybe.
Harry and the Hendersons. Wasn't that Bigfoot?
Yeah, right? I think so. I'm digging, dude. That's like 40 years ago.
I think old school TV figured it out before anybody. The Islamic Steak says, you guys see China playing bumper boats. We thought about that. Are we allowed to cover that?
Yeah, it's not really aviation, but it's kind of naval. That was a sweet move.
It's 100% naval, dude. Like, it's not kind of naval. It's like boats are naval.
So I spent all day driving and drilling, but
spicy cheese.
Okay, it involves boats.
Therefore, slightly naval. Got it.
Slightly naval. All right, you got me on that one. But correct me if I'm wrong, Mover, but what we saw was one Philippine naval ship outmaneuver and cause two Chinese ships to crash into one another.
Correct.
Yes, it was brilliant. I mean,
That's
for
a
ship drivers,
valid ACM tactic.
it was, dude. That's straight
Look,
out of
Doug's
Top
got
Gun
it.
Maverick.
Doug's got
Yeah.
it. Hold on, Doug. You ready? Start at the beginning.
This is out of Top Gun Maverick, dude. He's out of missiles, and he's like, "I'm just going to use what I got."
Coast Guard,
Yeah.
like they're in a 3-ship wall.
Look at that, dude. He's about to get the pincer.
Scarborough Shoal. I wrote a paper about that in ACSC like a nerd.
This is pretty wild.
All right, so
oh, dude.
friendly fire was enabled.
Oh, is that a water? There's probably the bilge pump going, man.
Is that supposed to look like that?
Yeah. Look at that, dude. Wow.
Whoever's driving is fired
dude.
by execution. Oh, right in the
dude.
side.
Yeah. That's going to leave a mark. Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine the amount of trash talking from the...
Oh. Can you imagine the Philippine captain? Send all your boats.
Yeah.
Dude,
I am the greatest naval officer that has ever roamed these seas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's like something straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean.
So, as an aviator on a Navy ship, we would always make fun of the SWOs, of course, and we would when they would resupply, right? You had the resupply ship come up next to the carrier. Well, there's this rendezvous that they would do, and they were always like super impressed, like, and because they play like heavy rock music over the one MC and stuff, and we were just like, ooh, 2 knots of closure. They'll be here in 30 minutes, just. But you see something like this. I mean, that was actually high speed, very dynamic.
It's like some bass boats.
Amazing.
Now, question for you, Gonky. True or false? I've heard this. Is it true that sometimes during said rendezvous that you just described, they would bring fighter pilots up to do it because they're like, you guys, to observe or to do it?
No, not
because like you guys are better at doing such things and pursuit curves and stuff. So,
man, I'm digging. This is digging decade and a half or so. But as part of your, I typically department heads, so like lieutenant commander rank and up, like part of their career education was they had to, as aviators, they had to learn about ship, aircraft carrier stuff, and that was one of the things. Like, okay, cool, he's seen a carrier rendezvous, check. Just in case you're ever a skipper. I remember some of the department heads having to do stuff like that, like go down to the engine room, like where the rods and water make energy, however that works with the reactor. But I mean, I was a JO, so I didn't have to do any of that stuff. But I remember some of the more senior guys in our squadron doing some of that as part of their career enhancement stuff. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, Observing, probably not.
Okay. All right.
Because, dude, I mean, you'd be like, "Hey, speed it up. Let's go, let's go."
Mill power.
It's like, yeah, mill power.
All right.
Brake
Boards. Boards.
Yeah,
Boards.
Exactly, dude. Yeah,
Jink.
bad things. Yeah, lower level idle boards. What? We can't go under it.
Oh, we did that one. Joe says, Gonky, off topic, but where do you ride in
Pensacola. I ride a
base?
Well, yeah. So hey, I did motorcycle safety class over at the base, Joe, this week, which was actually really cool. So I can ride my motorcycle on base
this week.
I did it Thursday. Yeah. So so yeah, I'll be able to ride my motorcycle on base. So that was kind of fun. But dirt bikes, I ride at MX 191, Milton MX, Six River, also just to the west of Pensacola, just in Alabama on I-10. Those are the three primary places. And then when my kid gets a little older, I'll go back to Monster Mountain.
We got to work on your OPSEC, Gonky, because you're just inviting stalkers.
I don't care. Bring tools. I need tools. Bring tools. Help me work on my bike.
Bring two-stroke oil. Bring tools.
Two-stroke, yeah. Bring two-stroke oil. Let's see. What up? My kid likes to bend handlebars. Bring handlebars for a KX65. So.
Zero says, can you guys expand on if Erst is legit or is it a gimmick? I know nothing other than DCS. Seems to be effective in only certain situations. Yeah. Not today. NCIS.
Yeah.
OSI.
I've had this training.
Yeah.
I have had this training. Yeah. Listen, the Tomcat had it. So, I mean,
I would like it.
I would love it. I don't have any experience with it because we never had it.
It's not, I don't know. What's it in DCS? Probably like the MiGs.
Probably Tomcat,
Flankers.
right?
Does it work in the Tomcat? No, because it's A and B Tomcat. They don't have the D, right? The A and B didn't have it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a super Tomcat.
I'm sure it's coming.
That's what she said. Heat Seeker says movers call sign story involves movers.
And leakers?
It's not wrong. Thomas says mover, perfect sponsor for NASCAR. U-Haul, super mover.
Yeah, you can have his face on the back. It's like, dude.
Super mover. Be holding the couch.
Funny.
Stevie Mo says all 7 episodes of that fighter pilot show are on YouTube. I wonder if it's the paid side of YouTube.
Yeah. What was it called again? What was that series called?
American Fighter Pilot.
That's right. That's right. Catch up brain, dude.
Spicy cheese. Warhorse says, how often in your flying careers have either of you had to fly around general aviation? I got my first solo at Osan Air Base back in 1987. Interactions with F-15s, RF-4s, and Cessna 152s were constant. Dude, I almost strafed one. Me and strafe, I mean, between the livestock and the people.
Cows and the people.
Yeah, we were same place. It's Avon Park. I don't know what it is. It was like a Cherokee or something. And we were rolling in, doing live high angle strafe, which you start from like 70-something 100 feet, which of course a GA aircraft is going to be lower than that. And I roll in and I hear abort. And I'm like, okay, off safe. And it's the GA. No, that's fine. There's nothing joking about this. He was wrong. He was in a restricted area, and we intercepted him. Like we went and rejoined on him, wing rock. Like, hey, dude, you're in our airspace, on guard. You're in a restricted area, not the MOA. MOA, we always have problems with that. The restricted area, totally different. You?
Yeah, probably most of the issues were when Lemoore around, I don't know, 2011 or 2011-ish, they created this wonderful MOA, military operating area, right above the base. I mean, like literally over the base. But
Allen, that's a Navy thing.
It's amazing, dude. You could fight till you're on fumes and coast in. But anyways,
Allen was awesome, dude, because you could kill remove to the initial.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know. That's how it should be everywhere. But when they created that military operating area, it's right in the middle of the valley, right? So a lot of GA would fly north to south, south to north in California through the valley because it's kind of right in the middle of the state. So we would have, and you can trundle through there. It's not a restricted airspace. They can't really close it down as a MOA. So we would have issues with, Cessnas or Bonanzas just bebopping through there. They're not doing anything wrong, but like sometimes we couldn't do our training because, they're in the way. A couple times, I'm not gonna say I had close calls, but I was within visual and give them a wing rock, whatever, say hello. But it mainly hampered our training more than anything else. But other than that, I never had any close calls or issues with small single engine stuff.
Well, we had a lot of traffic going back to Eglin.
Yeah.
Destin Executive was right there. And
oh, yeah. That's
banner towers, helicopters, and to their credit, Eglin Approach kept us safe. Even though they'd love to run us out of gas, they at least kept us safe around other traffic.
Right. Yeah. A lot of that, though, to be honest, was self-induced because, right, we're like, I want to do a beach run at 200 feet, whatever, 350 knots. And, people are towing banners and working. And here we are just doing a good deal beach run. So,
yeah, it's called freedom, Gonky. Look at
I don't listen. I did it every flight. I don't disagree with it. I'm just saying.
Zwag says started primary flight training 2 weeks ago. Good luck.
Awesome, man.
Don't be a douche. Help your bro.
Yep.
MacGuffin Virtual Productions 2025.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Schnitzel fart says, howdy, gents.
Hello.
What is a schnitzel fart?
I don't know, dude. Sounds German.
Thomas says, what do we need more Wampfoot? Oh, he's gonna be mad at us now. Dallas says, what if Bigfoot is woke? No, sorry, a Wookiee. The cameras.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, maybe Bigfoot's an alien or a Wookiee. Just here visiting.
Stephen Billen says UK F-35 emergency light. We're getting there.
Could be a segue.
So Mill Twitter is once again on fire because an F-35 diverted this time in Japan.
Yeah.
Another F-35B declared emergency. Doug, is this it? Kagoshima. Emergency landing. British F-35 from HMS Prince of Wales is diverted into Kagoshima Airport with an apparent technical issue, landed safely, and was moved to the taxiway. They said that Royal Air Force fighter aircraft landed at 11:30 a.m. on August 10th, so yesterday. And that is the entire story. Air traffic control contact advanced by the pilot who said, technical issue, I'm diverting. It's emergency. Then, of course, the other one happened in India. And that thing was stranded there for a while, but they did eventually fly it out, Gonky. If you recall, they flew Fat Amy out there. They're currently deployed, and they actually just landed right on the Japanese, first British jets in history to land on the Kaga in a joint exercise. So they had just wedged themselves out of the good thing they did with a diversion, and it's mainstream. Media loves it. Airport has 3,000 meter runway, which I guess that's a lot or not much.
9,000-ish feet. Yeah.
That's cool. And that's it. Oh, more details. Oh my God. Are you serious?
Dude.
So
I was going to say, maybe this is the same F-35.
Breaking news. It's not the same one.
I was thinking maybe this F-35 just wants another stamp in its passport, dude. I mean,
there are memes. There are memes of the postcard of it going to various places and giving travel reviews. There are memes.
Spend a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there.
I love it, Gonky. Look, dude, people divert, man. If I had a news article for every time I had to come back with some kind of EP and either the Hornet or the Viper, I would have a whole podcast.
Yeah, but okay, you came back to your base though. You didn't actually go in another country, did you?
Florida could be considered many countries.
I that's I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but dude, you've talked about this in the Hornet. They went to another country because they're over the water. If you divert from the boat, the only place to divert is to another country. True or false?
Well, yeah, you're right, but
And
I
they
think
diverted to the country that they were working with.
I think the real reason why these F-35Bs are having to divert all the time is because they're single engine, so they can't do precautionary approach at the ship, and the ships that they operate off of are not super carrier type, right? So you can't. You have to hover to land.
Yeah, which
right.
That goes back to the horrendous design of the F-35B
Correct.
VTOL.
Correct. Garbage. So I what happens if like you're ever in a real conflict and like
somebody on Twitter, but somebody on Twitter talked about the Harrier was way worse.
Yeah. I mean, but that's 60s technology. But I agree with you. I just think the idea of vertical takeoff 5th gen airplane is it's a waste.
Yeah, I just don't think this is a story.
I think it's more funny
about it because people tell us to talk about it and we just read off the teleprompter. But
I don't have the Twitter, but I just think it's funny that sorry. I just think it's funny that the F-35B is making its way around the world.
Making my way downtown
on this cruise, just visiting every country along the way on its way back home.
No, they're out there doing joint ops with Japanese Royal Navy. Are they the Royal Navy?
I don't know. Imperial. No, wait, it's
Imperial.
not Imperial.
No, they can't be Imperial.
World War II.
No, we've corrected that. We don't do Imperial anymore.
My bad.
Yeah, they're just Royal now.
I'm watching too much World War II stuff. Sorry.
Did you ever? Oh, anyway. But the reality is, it safely landed. Now, is it going to be stuck here for a month? It depends. It depends on whether maintenance can get out there, get whatever spare parts, get everything swapped out, and get it flying again. But I don't think this is a testament to anything related to the F-35 because this is not unusual for any fighter to do emergency and divert.
Yeah, so every time we launched from the carrier for combat mission, or most missions, unless we were blue water ops, which means there is no land divert, but we always had hey, if we have a major issue with the airplane, instead of bringing it back to the ship, like, Kabul or Baghdad or whatever. So we had, it's part of the plan is what I'm saying, these land diverts. So like Mover's saying, it's not really a big deal. I mean, he landed safely. It was probably part of their contingency plan for any kind of issues that come up with the airplane, and it works. They're going to fix it, fly it back to the ship, carry on with the day.
That's a good point. Didn't you have a story like that where they diverted to Guam?
That was after midair, sir. Yes.
Diversion.
Yes. 2 Hornets diverted to Guam after 2 of our Hornets diverted after they swapped paint. Yeah. And that was during blue water ops. And then we created non-blue water ops. Yes. The air bridge. Yes.
Well, thank you for that. Thomas says no free trips through the HUD. Yeah. Well, if you're trying to avoid murder charges, you typically will allow. Gina says, I need a steak named after me, 20 millimeter hole in the center. Get Omaha steaks. I'll take some steaks. Could be named something cool like T-Bone.
Yeah.
Butcher.
That's an Air Force call sign, isn't it?
Butcher.
T-Bone?
Butcher would have been a good one.
Was it?
The Butcher.
Yeah, see, dude, like I said, way too cool. Way
Butcher.
Too cool.
Hey, Butcher, what's happening?
No.
Yeah, it's awesome. MacGuffin Virtual Productions 2025. The F-35 at Abbotsford Air show broke halfway through its demonstration on Saturday. The F-18 demo got the best shockwave vapor photo ever.
Nice. Airplanes do break, and Fat Amy's defense, they break.
I couldn't find that picture on the internet. I looked.
Hmm.
Feel free to send it to us.
General Secretary Xi Jinping and the DPRK banned. Why is the F-15 the best fighter attack plane?
Well,
the F-15 is not attack anything.
Well, maybe he's throwing the mud hen in there.
I would say the EX might be. EX is a bad mamma jamma. Not you see all the C model stuff that I say is limited to that aircraft and its Zamboni drivers. The EX to me is a totally different airframe, and it is so far living up to the hype.
Yeah.
The C model, yeah, okay, good. You got one job.
I think the F-15 is a great airplane, period, because they designed it to be like uncompromised high performance airplane. It was about thrust to weight, turn performance, like, and when you build an airplane that is just an athlete like that,
Douglas, what are you doing?
It can do the
fighter got
mission.
me again. Hang on.
It can do the fighter mission, and it can do even the attack mission really well. Because they took the C model, created the Strike Eagle, which is by all accounts a really good strike attack airplane. I don't know if it's the best in all missions. Passenger jet, yes. And then, like Mover's saying, the evolution of those two is the EX. So I just think it's like if you design a machine to be an all-out performer, it's going to do pretty much everything well. That's my opinion.
Max says both planes from the same ship. I would not be throwing stones about things happening on the same ship from the naval aviation side.
I think it's the same pilot. Maybe he wants the passport stamp.
Because we have done things from the same ship or same carrier group.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We shot down a Hornet. We threw one off the edge of the boat in a Hornet.
And then we went ahead and swapped some paint
with another boat.
With another boat. Dude.
So we probably should not be throwing rocks from the cigar glass house.
Yeah. There is plenty of buffoonery to go around.
Yeah. We're just going to go ahead.
The best thing you can do is keep your head down and try not to be the next.
Keep your head up so you don't hit the boat. Keep your head down. You don't see the boat you're about to hit.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
Keep your head on the swivel.
There you go. The swivel. That's right.
Thomas says T-bear steaks. I wouldn't want steaks made of T-bear. That poor man. He deserves better. What do you want to talk about next?
What's on the
What do
list?
you have? What is that, Doug? What are you looking at? I see something Daily Star. Is that the Raytheon or is that the...
Yeah, the name of the missile is Tucson, apparently, or it's made in Tucson, one or the other.
That's where Raytheon is. We can talk about that, but we got the United thing after. So.
We could do that now if you like.
Oh, yeah.
No. Which one you want to do, Doug or Gonky?
Let's do United. Need a little humor.
You got it. This is all you.
Bring it up, Doug. Almost. Hold on. Here we go. It says pilot leaves cockpit to personally explain flight plans. Some say it's too much. So flight 1604 looks like the captain came out with his company iPad and he went on he personally showed everyone on the flight the weather radar and all the details, the route, follow the magenta line, explaining turbulence, how to dodge a turbulence, reassuring passengers he was going to do all he can to get them a smooth, safe ride to their destination. So I don't know.
In Father's Day.
Yes. Yeah. So, hey, awesome. Even a little Father's Day. So, hey, he's just trying to put his passengers at ease. Let them know you're in good hands. What do you think, Mover?
Flight attendants prepare for takeoff. What are the required PAs?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, logistically, I have questions because you are but one man And there is no reprojection capability on this aircraft. So did he like walk down the aisle holding it up to get all the way to the people in the back? Or was this just for first class? Or was just for the exit row people? Like, who got this briefing? Because you can't be personalized for 169 souls on board. Just can't.
Yeah, it's a bit, and I mean, what is that? Maybe an 11-inch iPad. I mean, it's not like
You bring
know,
your
I mean,
whole
it's like,
TV, you got to wheel it down there.
ladies and gentlemen, if you can, I mean, yeah, you know, dude, look, some people
Just bring them up one by one to the cockpit so they can verify that the flight plan is in there.
Check my work. Well, if I learned anything from the CRJ B-52 near miss or near
nothing. Go on. Yeah.
Near nothing. Yeah.
Near air show.
Some of the people in the comments were like, we're saying, I want to know all there is to know. Right. So some people enjoy the overbrief.
So
some people were like, I don't want to know that there's like turbulence and storms. We're going to go around.
Dude, there's your business idea, United. Super chats. So if 2A pays extra, the captain has to go and show him the iPad.
I don't know. So where I'm at, obviously none of the guys I fly would do this, but at the beginning of the flight, it's, hey, welcome aboard. We'll have you there in flight time's 2 hours. If there's any weather along the way,
Give me your PA. Do you do PA?
I don't do that PA. No.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, the captain normally tells if there's anything along, hey, we might have some bumps along the way. There might be some weather. We're going to go around it. The flight time's a little longer because of this. But it's, clear, concise, calm is always important.
Correct.
And that's usually what you hear usually. But in this case, it was, Top Gun super weapons school style, I guess. I don't know.
On motherhood.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Save your questions for the end of the brief.
Yeah. Wait till the end. Your question. 3B, sit down.
Yes.
No bathroom for you. I'm standing in the middle of this aisle. You'll pee when we're airborne when the seatbelt light is off, but I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, can we just, for a second, just not be extra? Can we just do the job and just that's it? Like, do we have to? Like, I am curious at what point it was like, it's a good idea. I'm going back there. Did he see it from somebody else? Because I have seen the ones that go like stand in the cabin and do the PAs, which I think is a little cringy myself. Not a huge fan of that either. But I mean, nowhere is that in the contract. Nowhere is that in the FOM. Nowhere is that in your training. So where did it come from?
See, I mean, he's a captain. He can do that. But, you always open yourself up for any kind of, I mean, I don't know. What if his first officer is his buddy, and he put like a funny picture on his iPad. He gets up there to show him the route, and like, I don't know, mover tube comes on or something. It's like, I mean, you just open yourself up for more liability and more chances to make errors. That's the only PA that I make is when we're coming out of altitude. I always pick up the phone. I always say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from the cockpit.
Whoa,
we're 20 minutes.
All those words?
I sure do. And I say, hey, we're 20 minutes from landing. Like, thank you for flying with us. Look forward to seeing you at attendants. Please prepare the cabin for arrival. I say it way smoother than that. That's all I say.
And you don't say any airlines.
No, well, I do, but I mean, thank you for flying Poverty Airlines.
Just stop yourself right now, Gonky. You're already going to have to edit that out.
I'm not editing anything, dude.
I guess my point is, I'd like to know a little bit more context. Were they on this like super delay and they had time? Because if you're in a normal flow, the captain should be up there with the FO, like backing him up, checking the route, looking at the weather, getting the release, like making sure all the paperwork's good. Like, you don't have time for this. Make your PA. It's just one step of many. because it's, to me, it's a safety. It becomes a safety thing because you're back there, you know, making sure your presentation's great, and you've got your FO who's probably sharp and probably more than capable. But the reason we have two pilots is so we can back each other up. We could be talking flight stuff and doing that stuff versus something that, you know, 20% of the people understand and appreciate. You know, probably 20% are kind of in between, and the rest are just like, okay, thanks, Captain. Are you the bellhop?
No, you bring up a good point, dude. Yeah, if they're on a super long delay, you know, okay, maybe go back there and talk to the passengers. But I also agree with you. It's a good idea to, you know, do the pilot monitoring, pilot flying stuff. Because we always talk about, you know, so my biggest beef between being in the sim and being in real life is in the sim, there's never any distractions, right? Like you never get anybody pop into the cockpit to say hi or anything that takes you off of your normal thing, right? So, and I just think getting up and going in the back and talking could lead to,
Well,
you know,
it's
it's outside
know
the normal
FO
flow.
sitting there going, okay, I got to run this checklist. I can't run the checklist till he gets back. Come
Right.
on, we got to get this. You know, I've got a flow I've got to go through.
Right.
And oh, by the way, does he go and debrief after? You know, like, does he bring the iPad out and like, here's our actual route of flight, and then swipes it to the tip screen? You know, if you had a good flight, press here. If you had a good flight, press 20%.
Oh, dude, that's funny.
Just fly the plane, man. That's all you have to do. Fly the plane.
That's United, man. I mean, what do you expect?
I expected that from Delta Air.
Really?
Lines. Oh, yeah. They're the ones that fly wartime missions in peacetime, and I got you. I mean,
I got you, dude.
You know,
I'm going to use that next time I'm flying.
I got you. I got you. We got you, buddy. TR Matson says, United shows the turbulence on the company iPad and it's good, but other airlines show stuff on their company iPad and they become the bad guy.
There we go. Mm-hmm. Valid on that. That's funny.
Also, don't diddle kids. They'll pull you right out of the cockpit. Harder for them to get you if you're standing in the middle of the aisle, though.
That's true.
You know,
Where you gonna go?
Where you gonna go? Now you got the wing exits.
And then you're taking a ride down a slide, probably.
Yeah.
Or a flap.
You're going down the flaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
A Square says the best thing about the Chinese Navy collision was that a Filipino Coast Guard's woman got on the radio and told the Chinese that they could help out with medical assistance if they needed it.
I have Filipino friends, and this doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dude, that is whoever was driving that the Philippine, that dude's gonna, or girl, that person's gonna go down in history as like the dude, 2 ships down, not a shot fired.
Yeah. That's like the stuff in movies where we're like, that would never happen.
Exactly, man.
Oh,
it's
man.
Amazing.
Andrew Law Art says, last show, no one in Australia pronounces Aussie with an S. Aussie is Oz. Aussie is Aussie. Australia is Australia. Keep on kissing the blue skies, fellas.
Thanks, Andrew.
I'll need that for when I find Mrs. Mover.
Mrs. Mover, dude.
Got to be able to speak the language. Know your people.
With a Louisiana twang. I love it.
It'll be our kids will be a hybrid. Louisiana, Aussie.
Funny.
Pneumatic Elephant says, in all seriousness, thank you folks for being a carrier of hope and support in ever-changing ocean of life. Love you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thanks.
And that's 7.62, like the round. Mm-hmm. Corey says, wife and I announced our first pregnancy today.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thinking Tomcat for either a girl or boy name. Can't wait to watch the show with a little one.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That is.
Ben says, I had to fly 1 week after 9/11. The captain says on the PA, this is my first time flying since the attack, and I'm really nervous.
Mm-hmm. On the PA. Wow, dude. Wow.
Renee says, well, and the Sinisters died with all the crazy people. What if somebody hurts him? They'll get another one. They'll just have to wait 2 hours for the short call guy to get called out. Then you have to wonder if the FO is going to time out. Trust me, when they're at the gate, they got plenty of options.
Yeah.
As long as it's in base. Out of base gets a little bit more complicated.
The wait's longer.
Yeah. but they'll figure it out. I mean, it's not national security. It's just, United 6969 nonstop service to Newark. Does that bring back PTSD?
It does. It does.
Gundam Blade says, evening mover, Gonky and Doug, another hypothetical question. If you both are assigned to fly the same plane, which one would take the role? I would go back to maintenance and ask them why we got the same plane and say, hey, look, give me a different tail number.
I think sorry, go ahead, dude.
Did Wombat ever get a reply from the dude from 2 weeks? All right, let's start with the first one because that sounds more like something we might actually be able to answer if we can figure it out. Because the second one, I have no idea. Wombat will have to reply.
I think the first part of his question is if we were both assigned to fly like a passenger jet, in which case I would have to be the FO because I can only fly with my right hand. If I sit on the left, I have to hold the stick with my left and we're going to crash. So
I don't know how to fly an Airbus.
See, and if we're in the 7-8, I drive my truck like this, but to fly airplanes like that to me is just wrong.
So basically the combo we need is Wombat and Gonky.
Pretty much
in the jump seat.
Yeah.
That's about the only combination thereof.
Yeah. Wombat, the captain, me, the FO, and then Mover. He can hold a GoPro.
Yeah. I will hold the camera and film the merge.
Film the merge. Dude.
Yeah. Bob says, for a small fee, I'll help with the extra training, bringing scraps up to the cockpit and simulator.
Thanks, Bob.
All right. Hey, dude. Raytheon, another government contractor. Got a huge missile deal.
I don't know about this, man. What's going on?
3.5 billion with a B.
Wow.
As the global conflicts intensify, Raytheon is a $3.5 billion, and it's for the AMRAAM, for both the Air Force and Navy and foreign militaries, but also they produce all of our missiles, so it's not just that. Underscores a critical role of 5th Gen AMRAAM plays in maintaining air superiority will ensure service members have advanced technology needed to stay ahead of adversary threats. They expect the work to be completed in 2031. Does it say, Doug, how many missiles? With all the spam in the middle of it? No, you keep going. I think there's more article after you get through all of your commercials. Nope. I guess that's it. That's their that's their whole shtick. I read something else that it was like thousands of missiles, and then that China was able to produce that almost daily.
Yeah.
And it underscores the reason I wanted to talk about this. Number one, I mean, good for the area, right? It's a good contract. But two, this is something we've talked about for 20 years. Sometimes it's not the technology. It's just you run out of missiles. And we've seen this in Ukraine. We've seen this. I'm sure when they were shooting down Houthi drones, they were running out of missiles and shooting it with the gun or the Iranian drones. And the weapons resources, the missile management is a huge part of any war. And if you get to start talking near peer with China or Russia, it's even bigger. Gonky, what do you think, as far as, is that even enough? Do you think that the deal needs to be bigger? Or what do you think about missiles?
Well, the issue is that missiles have a lifespan. So, the idea of spending $3.5 gajillion, I like it, but if you never use them, right? I can kind of see like the bean counters back there trying to, like you mentioned, we definitely need to have the industrial capacity, maybe not now, but the ability to quickly scale up to that, and just in case. And we need to have a reserve of good weapons on hand in case, something kicks off. We can at least get through the first couple weeks, right? Or months, whatever, production gets going. But, you don't want these things to time out because the missiles you've shot and that I've shot, they were all the old ones, right? They're getting ready to time out. So they're like, well, might as well use it for some training, right? Throw it on there and, in the Air Force, you're right. You go down to Tyndall, shoot a drone, and the Navy go wherever and shoot. So, well, not wherever. It's yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, the underlying issue is the ability to ramp up if needed, like in World War II, man. Like, they were building Liberty ships faster than the Germans could sink them. And it's, Liberty ships, they weren't hard to sink. So like you said, sometimes quantity is important. And when you're dealing with an industrial giant like China, the United States is not the industrial country that it used to be. So that could be, I'm not gonna say it could be. I really think that is a national security issue, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. There's a lot of details missing from that article and what we know, but I think it's a step in the right direction, man.
Yeah. What part of it causes that? I mean, could they cold storage?
I don't know, man. So, I know I know on the air to ground ordinance, like the fin kits have a lifespan, right? The ordinance has a lifespan. I don't know what dictates that lifespan. Maybe in the Navy, it has something to do with corrosion being.
It says so. Raytheon says rocket motor squeeze still constrains missile output. That's another article.
Well, yeah, whatever the propellant is in the rocket motors, I mean, I don't know. I just know that they have a lifespan.
Naval power unit supplies include the SM-2, SM-6, and 9X. So that's a big thing to go as well.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the lifespan could be, these new weapons could be substantially longer. I don't know. But I could see the balance that, when you're talking about, hey, we don't even have enough money to keep the Army Aviation Reserve going.
Yeah, it's
right? It's like we got a budget.
Denmark, Belgium, Japan, the Netherlands, Canada, Finland, Germany, Hungary. This is like an Animaniac song. Spain, Poland, Sweden, Taiwan, Lithuania, the United Kingdom, Australia, Switzerland, Ukraine, Israel, and Kuwait.
Right. Which I think helps because, I mean, you've got a lot more countries involved.
It's also in the NASAMS, National Advanced Surface to Air Missile System, and Norway's Kongsberg Defense. Good grief.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically you're talking about ammunition production. I mean, a fighter jet is just an airplane, right? It's just an airplane until you put weapons on it, and then it becomes a weapons platform. So, I mean, your greatest fighter in the world or your greatest bomb in the world is basically useless if you don't have weapons to put on it. So, like I said, I think step in the right direction, but.
Well, I just remember the old, I don't want to get canceled. MiG-15s and MiG-17s. Not going to say NATO designations.
Perfect.
That could saturate the air picture.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I got to use my missiles, and okay, they put those guys out front. Now we can put drones instead, but they were using human drones, putting them out there, and then okay, here come the flankers and everything else. So
we always joke, dude, day one, there's going to be a lot of aces. Day two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, hey, I'll be at the duty desk. I'll be SDO today.
Yeah. Cleared to step. District Under Oak says, my girlfriend just got slotted F-16 Air Guard, going to be stuck long distance for a couple years while I finish school. Am I screwed? Yes or no?
Well, congrats to her. I don't know, man. Life is funny sometimes.
Here's the thing. I don't need to be giving date advice.
Well, here's, dude, let me help you. Dude, listen, I don't know how old you are, man, but I mean, you're probably in your 20s and life just happens. Like, that's my advice, dude. When I was in my 20s, I thought I had it all doped out, especially with my, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, but it did not work out as I had planned. But it's just, yeah. And Mover has a similar story, minus the wife.
I've definitely been the F-16 world. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends. It just depends. Fighter pilot response. It depends, right?
We don't need that
The
here.
chat is jumping in with plenty of good advice for the young gentleman.
Yeah, there's your best answer right there, Kyle.
Yeah, dude. We like Mover and I are probably the two. My wife would agree with this. We are the especially me. I'm the worst. I can't give this kind of advice. Totally out of my life.
I can tell you though, hang on to her because the dating pool is way worse. Like way worse.
The older you
Just
get, I'm sure.
Accept whatever it is because it's scary out there.
Oh, geez.
It's just
Perfect.
no. All right. And Steve says, back to aviation topics. The old AIM-7s in the 80s were found to be damaged by stress of carrier landings. And in fact, the ordies would sometimes use mallets to hammer the fins into place. God.
Yeah.
And the cab says the shelf life is due to hazmat. The rocket fuel and explosive charge determines the lifespan due to degradation of chemical composition. So can't you just remove that and then put it in when you need it, so to speak?
I don't know. Are they modular?
Build it. I mean, they build them up at the thing. I mean, we didn't just have. I thought they had to build them up like regular bombs.
Depends on the weapon, and I don't know if they're all modular, dude. I don't know.
We're not experts here.
We're not ordies, no.
Yeah,
I just put the thing on the thing and pulled the trigger, right? When it
I pulled it, yeah, and hoped that I had all the switches right and had a valid hostile deck and all the stuff that you
the lotion on the
need.
skin. Just kidding.
Hey, Gonky, is the Super Hornet still relevant?
Yes.
All right, quick article. So the national interest, our favorite, why the Super Hornet still matters. This is the 30th anniversary of the maiden flight in November. Are we celebrating?
Yeah, it's not November yet, but I'll celebrate.
They're going to award the contract for the FAXX allegedly later this year. But you got the Block 3 that's supposed to go all the way into 2030. And, there's still into the 2040s after that. So you got a long time that you're stuck with it. But they're going to close the production lines in 2027 when the final aircraft are delivered to the Navy. So it will celebrate the jet's legacy with a series of events, including a photo op, pilot panels with those who flew. Are you on the pilot panel? You should be. Book signings? You could bring your coloring book.
I did use a Super Hornet in Liza Lou and Rocket Rip Fly fighter jet.
There's your specifications for the Super Hornet, in case you were wondering. Scroll down, Doug. They replaced the Tomcat back in 1999. You can drink olive oil for 7 days. In case you're wondering that as well, because we don't have ad blockers here. It's a force multiplier. It does all the missions. But I guess the question was, that's a 40-year lifespan if that timeline holds. Gonky, it's not the Super Hornet you flew, which was not the original one. Is it the jack of all trades and the upgradable weapon, or is it something that's getting long in the tooth?
Well, I go back to like the F-15, right? The F-15 was a solid design, just as an airplane, as an airframe. The Super Hornet's not perfect, but it is a very robust, solid fighter design. Doesn't do anything exceptionally well, but it does everything pretty well. The secret sauce is beneath the skin, the avionics. So when I was an instructor in Super Hornets, we had some of the early Super Hornets, or we called them Rhinos. They were drastically different than the brand new Lot 33s at the time, with the ESA, data link, all that nerd stuff in the same squadron. So in one day, I could fly, the early, 30-year-old, well, back then, 20-year-old Rhino. And then later in the day, I could fly a brand new one just off the assembly line. They're two very different machines, very different capabilities. And that's because the airplane is upgradable. One of the cool things about even the Legacy Hornet, man, it's like, pull this box out because it's outdated, put this box in, right? Kind of thing. So it it had what they refer to as growth potential. Now, things like stealth, like the F-35 and F-22, well, it's not that. And it will never be that because that's part of the airframe design. I think that probably 95% or even higher, or 99% of the time or even higher, the Super Hornet can do just as good a job as an F-35 in any given naval aerial type engagement, air to air or air to surface or ground or whatever. But the F-35 definitely has its strong points, and it is more survivable in places where the Super Hornet just can't go. So it's good that we have both. I do still think the Super Hornet's relevant because they have continued to upgrade the avionics and make it relevant. And the Navy still thinks it's relevant, or else they wouldn't be buying new ones that haven't even been built yet, right? They're going to build them all the way to 2027. And the Block 3s are, dude, they probably the technology difference between the old girls that I used to fly and the new ones at the time, like 2012 timeframe, like those old 2012 birds are probably like ancient dinosaurs compared to the Block 3 stuff they got coming out now. So yeah, I think it's going to be relevant for a long time, to be honest. Mover, what do you think, man?
So, I mean, you get into this kind of technological plateau, right? Where the airframe is good, the technology increases, and you can swap it out. The problem, and the Viper had this, and I'm sure the Hornets had this. I mean, it has the center barrel stuff, the airframes, right? Because physics are physics. Now, 7.5G airframe, you're saving some life on it, but you're doing carrier landings, which is taking it away. My thought has always been, and this is where I think we've run into problems, is we stop building aircraft and keep upgrading. So then you end up with 40-year-old airframes sitting out on the ramp. You're doing service life extensions. You're doing, the depot level stuff. You're trying to make this one airplane go versus buying that new jet with the stuff in it. Because I think if it's already integrated from the factory from day one, it works better than if you hodgepodge, like you talked about, switching out, put this box in, take this box out. Because anytime they've done upgrades, it takes a while to work out the bugs and stuff versus you take that same new tech. Now, granted, it's more expensive to buy, but I think you get, if you said, hey, we've got 10 years on this jet, we're going to run it until the end of 10 years and, move it to reserves or something else, I think is better than when you're building new aircraft, because at some point you stop building them and you get like what's going on with the Raptor, where, you can't upgrade it, certain older one. You're just like, well, I mean, the airframes, the platform is still good. It's still relevant. And that's what's happening with like the F-35. Lockheed is pivoting to Gen 5.5, but I guarantee it's not, we're going to make a early block pre-TR3 jet Gen 5.5. We're going to make the ones we're making now capable of doing that, because you can't do it from upgrade perspective. It's much harder to upgrade than it is to buy it, new off the lot. And so like the Block 3 Super Hornet stuff probably wouldn't work in your 2012. It'd probably be a huge pain to do that. And again, airframe, stress on the airframe, life cycles, carrier landings, all that stuff that takes life. And to me, it's better to buy new and have your complement of newer, cheaper aircraft. That's the problem, though, is everything's so damn expensive that, I mean, in like the EX and the Block 3 Super Hornet, I think the price comparison to an F-35 is pretty damn close, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of that, though, is also numbers, right? They've already built 1,000 F-35. How many EXs are they going to build? So, yeah, you got a point, Mover. So, in the Legacy, I didn't see, like in the Rhino and the Super Hornet, they when they built that jet, they had growth in mind. I caught the Legacy jet kind of towards the tail end of its life, and I flew old lot 10s from the late 80s, but we had a Marine squadron on board that had basically the the latest Charlies. They were like Lot 18s or something. But like you said, they not only did they have more capability, but they had quite a bit more weight added to them, right? Because you add the boxes and all the nerd stuff, it takes up space. Like in 204, remember how we had the hell hole behind the ejection seat? You could throw your duffel bag. Those jets, dude, that was taken up with nerd stuff. Those guys had way more generator issues than we did because they were, running all the Trons, right? So, and then the big thing for a carrier guy is you add weight to an airplane, that's less fuel available for max trap. So we always had maybe 2 or 3 looks behind the ship before we had to go hit the tanker. If we were having a bad night, those guys sometimes were one and done, right? Because the airplane was so heavy with stuff, it couldn't carry the extra fuel to do a couple laps around the pattern if they needed to. So, you hit on a little bit. Aircraft design
was that built like that, or was there extra weight because they were built with the extra weight, or they were upgraded?
Those jets were they were not upgraded. They were built like with more capability from.
See, because my theory on this is that if you have one that's, excuse me, from the factory, right, you get better maintenance because it's less stuff to break. That's not aged out and all that stuff, and more reliable, and is built to handle it. If you have something that you've added stuff, you've added weight, etc., it's not within the original design. And so you start to have issues versus if you've built it like that from the factory.
I take that back. I think they were modded because they had helmet and stuff. That helmet didn't come out. Those jets were built in the late 90s.
Well, they didn't have generators and stuff is usually as a symptom of we've put stuff on the airplane that the generators weren't designed to handle, because usually like Block 70 or Block 69, whatever, like the Block 3 Super Hornet, I guarantee you when it comes off the factory, it is tested and designed for what it has. It is not, hey, well, we added another targeting pod to the right chin mount.
It's got the tow package.
Yeah. We just put that on last week.
Right.
Let's see how it goes. I think when it comes from the factory, it's designed, whatever upgrades they did are built in and it's tested right off the line. So you're not having the issues.
Yeah. It's a good point, but like you said, it's a huge cost thing. And then, for example, we, for most of my time in the fleet, we flew the oldest Hornets in the air wing, but we were still able at the time, wouldn't fly today, but we were still able to integrate with the air wing and be successful, in our tactics. So it's not that if you don't have the latest and greatest, your jets are now useless. Tactics play, in my opinion, tactics and training is just as important as obviously the tools or the airplanes being used. So you have to know what you have, your limitations, and go with it. Super Hornet. So okay, it's not stealthy, but dude, it's got a cousin called the Growler that can do some pretty crazy stuff.
And it's got all them, it's got its own
self-protection. Yeah, there's many ways to solve problems in any kind of aerial type warfare, but when you strip it all back, the Super Hornet's the backbone of Navy fighter aviation. And I actually don't believe, I think it was, my opinion, it was designed as basically a stopgap airplane for the F-35, but it has lasted
McDonnell Douglas, baby.
Yeah. Me and Wombat, we bag on the Super Hornet almost as much as Fat Amy, but it's the toughest airplane that I've ever flown. When you sit in it, you're like, it feels like you're in a quality product. So I'm a fan.
All right. Moving on to the next thing. If I can find it. Hold on, Douglas. I'm sending you a link. We forgot about the UPT drop thing. If we're going to talk about that, if we have time. But this is kind of breaking the last couple days. A Japanese F2, Japanese self-defense force fighter crashed off Ibaraki Pilot ejected safely, is in stable condition. That is their version of the Viper with a canopy bow. They ruined the only good thing about that jet. But they were basically main ejection was rescued. He's in stable condition. UH-60 recovered the pilot, transported him to the hospital. No ships or vessels. So out over the water, worst place really. But at least he was picked up fairly quickly, and is expected to make a recovery. That is really all we have on that. It's their indigenous Viper.
Yeah, it definitely looks. Dude, I before the show, I was asking Mover like, "Oh yeah, what's the difference?" And you point out the canopy bow, which I never noticed before. And now that I
ruined it,
I can't stop looking at it, dude. It's like, why is that?
Yeah, ruined it.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe they wanted a roll cage, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they said something. I mentioned it on another video, and somebody said it's because of the low level. But the Viper canopy is designed for up to, I think it's like 500 and something knots to hit a bird.
Yeah, which is similar to the Hornet.
So, I mean, maybe you got a little bit more with this one. But
dude, I bet it's cheaper to make, man.
Well, they had to redesign it. I mean, so this is their F2. So I don't know if they're still making them or if they're just flying old ones.
Yeah.
You know, because they're in, not only they're doing F-35, but they're doing the Tempest, right? The Japanese are part of the British Tempest 6th gen thing that is going. Wait, it does say retired. So it's advanced carbon fiber composite technology. So it's probably lighter than a regular Viper. And they don't make them anymore. So they're retired Mitsubishi made fighter jets from Japan, likely referring to the F2 to go to the Philippines. So I guess they stopped making them, and they're retiring them as they get the F-35 on board. So,
dude, even though it's got a canopy bow, I think it's a good looking airplane.
Oh yeah,
and thankfully thankfully good ejection.
Yeah,
probably
I wonder if it uses the same Aces too. No, it'd be the Aces.
Aces too, yeah,
because if it's for same, it looks like the same reclined seat, so I'm guessing it would be the Aces.
Yeah.
It's just that's their only real big difference is the lightweight frame.
Does everything else look the same as F-16?
Yeah, guns on the same spot. I mean, same.
It's good looking, man. It's good
rails.
looking.
I bet it being lightweight, dude. I bet it's a beast.
I bet it's fun.
I bet it. I mean, it's a hot rod because you take the weight out, keep the engine big. Although that looks like a small inlet. Doesn't look like the big mouth.
I don't know, man. I'd go for a ride.
That's what she said. All right. Andrew says, during World War II, what plane would you want to fly? P-51.
Yeah, man. For me, it'd either be Spitfire or maybe Corsair. I mean, P-51's up there too, but dude, Spitfire's pretty awesome. So is a Corsair for different reasons.
Ron says, notable that the Air Force is saying they don't want to overhaul CCAs, but just buy new ones. Let's see if it happens.
Okay. They can want all they want.
Can't afford it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway. So, Canada. We should have had Alpha on this. Nope. Wrong one, Douglas. There we go. Problems with Canada CF-18. So they've gone the other way on this F-35, but National Security Journal has said their decade-long need to replace the aging CF-18 has been hit with another political delay. After signing a deal for 88 F-35s in 2023, the new government, Prime Minister Mark Carney, is now reconsidering the purchase. This continued delay leaves Canada with an obsolete fighter fleet that can no longer adequately meet its NATO and NORAD commitments with Russia and Chinese activity increases in the Arctic. Did they wait too long? Obviously, we've talked about stopgap, whether with the Gripen or the Super Hornet even. They went with the F-35 in 2023 that they had signed for the $13.7 billion contract to buy 88 of them. But now Mark Carney said, well, guess what? There's alternatives. And we're going to consider canceling a substantial part of the order, says Bill Blair. But the problem is they have NATO and NORAD requirements, and they're not really meeting it as Russian activity and Chinese activity in the Arctic is increasing. Part of they don't call it the great power competition. There's a new word for it now. I don't remember what it is, but it's new. And they're basically saying short answer is yes, they waited too long in the operational relevance, but Ottawa is considering the Gripen as an alternative, and everybody else has gone to 6th gen. So that's basically Steve Ballesteri's opinion, and we've covered this before. Gonky, what do you think, man?
Well, I think to blame it on the current political climate, and then even the previous leadership in Canada is short-sighted. Dude, 15 years ago, much like the United States Marine Corps, they should have bought Super Hornets to get them. Because, dude, I mean, okay, you put in an order for F-35s in 2023. When are you going to get them? All right, it's completely different airplane, completely different, right? Training and all that. They got to stand up everything from scratch.
Well, they'd already started. I thought they already started.
Right, but what I'm saying is a slow process. So 15 years ago, dude, when I was we had Canadian exchange pilots, and they were flying the Super Hornet, and they were one of their tasks was to let the Canadian Air Force know what'd you think of the Super Hornet, right? Because they were Hornet guys who came down to be Hornet IPs, and then we shut down VFA 125, which was our legacy Hornet training squadron, which the Canadians fly the legacy Hornet. So our Canadian pilot got to go over there, and he flew the Rhino a lot. And yeah, he reported back, to the Canadian Air Force, and he liked the airplane. And I even asked him, I was like, what do you think? And, he mentioned that Canada being, the vast country that it is, there's a lot of areas up there where if you punch out, you ain't gonna make it. So, 2 engines, reliability and robustness, if that's a word, over maybe capability at times, most of the time, is probably beneficial, at least if you're the poor guy or gal in the airplane flying it.
Yeah.
Because much like going down in northern Afghanistan, like good luck waiting on the helicopter, because you go down up in the northern territories. I don't know, man. So, but 15 years ago, man, their Hornets were starting to get long in the tooth. Something needed to be done back then, to do it now, or even a couple years ago, and finger point at one another over politics is garbage. The government from the 2010 timeframe, in my opinion, is what has hampered the Canadian Air Force and the Canadian taxpayer. So I don't know. That's what I think. They should have bought the Rhino, just like the U.S. Marines, because the F-35 became very delayed, and this is what you get, man.
Marines bought the Rhino?
No, they should have.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Okay, yeah.
So.
Dude, we had Alf on the show, CF-18 pilot, and he was pretty passionate about it as well. If I remember correctly, last time we talked about this, they were talking about not a complete cancellation, but a limited cancellation. So, having a little bit, but not much. But no matter what you do, it's not just you buy the airplane and boom, shows up tomorrow. There's no showroom. There's no dealer lot. You have to forecast. You have to create a plan. And when you do this because of current day politics to try to spite or whatever, you miss the whole, hey, what are we going to do in the meantime? Because if they drop this, which, like you said, they're already 2 years, they're 15 years behind. This is a 2-year order that they started. It's 2023, $88 billion. And there's like, we're going to buy these. or is it 88 jets? I don't know how many $1 billion, but whatever the
88
thing
jets.
the thing was. You can't cancel that order 2 years later, which is already in process. You know, they've already got, hey, this is the assembly line. This is when these jets are going to go to you. And then say, well, you know what? We're going to buy the Gripen. Because you might, but you're going to get like Brazil's oldest Gripens. You know, when they get their new ones and they're like, okay, well, these have 10,000 hours. Here you go. Because the factory has a production schedule that they are already trying to deal with. It's the same reason, if an airline today says, well, you know what, we want the 787, good luck, bud. You can't just say that today and expect it to show up tomorrow. It's years long process. And so you're already behind the power curve if that's what you were planning on doing. And so it's if you're talking NORAD and those obligations, you're trying to talk near peer, and that's what they're getting at, right? They're saying that basically the technology and the reliability are such that they are no longer relevant as they were 30 years ago when the airplanes were newer. You have to be able to keep up with what the Russians are bringing over, and the Chinese and stuff. And if it's a Su-35, with your little CF-18, well, just hope the tensions don't get high, because you're not really doing much except show of force. Does that mean the U.S. is now going to have to pick up that mission? I don't think Canada would like that too much, but I mean, if you need somebody who's going to have to go up there, they're going to have to do something. They can't just have nothing. And it's like we talked about in the last segment. Older jets have maintenance problems. You can't upgrade them as much. They're not flyable. They're more dangerous. Like, you've got all these considerations, the airframe life cycles, all that stuff starts to add up. And I think it's very similar to their approach to the Snowbirds. They are flying way too old airplanes as their demo team. And it's systemic at this point.
Well,
they
dude,
just have not replaced anything. Their trainer, they have to send people off because they don't have they were flying, CF5s, and then they're like, well, I don't know.
Well, dude, no decision is a decision, right? I mean,
right.
the issue 15 years ago was like, well, we don't want to get the Rhino because with 5th gen coming online, or so they hem-haw, and then it's like analysis paralysis, right? They just don't do anything, and now they're really stuck. And
now they're reacting. Now they're emotionally reacting.
Yeah.
It's like our friend from Europe said, because we asked this question. We asked our buddy in Europe. We said, what about, your F-35 order? And it's like, we can't. That's stupid. Because we've already sent people to go train. Yeah. We've already started preparing the infrastructure. If we cancel this order now, we're going to be a decade behind, because we didn't build our own 5th gen. We have nothing to replace it with. I mean, it's one thing if you have factories down the road and you're like, hey, reallocate those jets you were going to give to, Nicaragua or whoever you're selling them to, and we're going to buy them. But if you are reliant on somebody else, you're already, I mean,
dude, if Canada really wanted to light the fire, I'd go get you a bunch of EXs. Right? I mean, longer legs, 2 engines, arguably more capability than a Rhino, than a Super Hornet.
Or they could buy Block 3 Super Hornets.
Or they could just do that,
and reopen, before it shuts down.
Yeah.
I would say we go buy Block 70 Vipers, but you don't like that idea.
Well, like I said, just kind of I don't know. Like I said, that was many years ago, but the terrain they operated in, the environment that they operated in was definitely a consideration.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else you want to talk about, Gonky.
What do we got?
You got Spain and Switzerland backing out of the F-35. It's the same thing.
That's right.
It's the same.
Nobody wants Fat Amy.
Now, look, is that it, Doug? You have that? Yeah. Swiss lawmakers turn against F-35 deal after Trump's tariff bombshell. There's a 39% tariff, and now they're like, well, we're not going to buy your F-35. They had 36 on order.
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to be delivered between 2027 and 2030. This happened all the way back in 2021, all after the Rafale. And the Green Party filed a formal motion to cancel the F-35, instead consider it a sovereign alternative. But the prices can still rise due to the tariffs, is what they're saying. But they're saying it's not supposed to.
Right.
In the current situation, we can't carry on as if nothing's happened. We accept the loss and terminate the contract, or we take delivery of what we have already paid for, stop the delivery, and fill our defense gap with purchases from Europe. Federal counsel has repeatedly affirmed they're sticking with the F-35. We don't do that. We have no air defense. See, there you go. But the tariffs are shifting thinking. The country's in shock. They've apparently never really done negotiations. And Spain just ruled out buying the F-35, confirming it will instead choose between the Eurofighter and the Future Combat Air System, a Franco-German project that has not even flown yet.
Yeah.
Lockheed said foreign military sales are government-to-government transactions, and this matter is best addressed by the U.S. and Swiss government. So a lot of saber rattling politically.
Yeah, I think that's all it is, man. I mean, all this trade war nonsense, that like tomorrow, the headline could be like, oh, Switzerland and the U.S. come to trade agreement, deal back on. I mean, dude, it's just something to write about. Here's the facts. If you want a 5th gen fighter, at least from the West, there's a short list of aircraft available to you.
It's exactly what we just talked about. You can't turn it off.
You're right.
3 years, 4 years later, and then be like, you know what? We're going to go buy from our European partners. I would like to see, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the French or the Eurofighter or whoever, Airbus, if maybe they're able to just pump them out like on demand. Like,
well, Spain already flies a Typhoon, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, an advanced model of the Typhoon, the Typhoon's fine, but yeah, dude, listen, if you want a fifth gen fighter, you know, and you're not United States, China, Russia, Turkey, South Korea, I mean, like I said, it's a very short list of available airplanes, and like you said, Mover, dude, sign up now for delivery in however many years.
I mean, all it's doing is freeing up our own deliveries here in the States. It's like, oh,
right.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Right.
We'll just finally get back on timeline for our own stuff because we're so far behind. Like,
exactly.
Unless you can find a manufacturer of any aircraft that can adequately replace it in a reasonable amount of time, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. That's what you're doing. You know, if the tariffs even apply. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Too, is these are politicians going, well, we're going to protest the tariff. How do we hurt the Americans? Oh, well, this government contract, we can hit them in the pocketbooks. Like, well, no, because now what do you have? You know, you are basing your defense strategy for the next 10 to 20 years on the acquisition of these aircraft. And you just said, you know what? No, we're going to go buy European things. It's like if I said, you know what, I'm tired of Corvette. I'm going to go buy a Porsche 911 GT3. And I go to the Porsche dealership and they're like, have you ever bought a Porsche before? No. Well, you're not even on the list, dude. See you in 10 years.
Right. Yeah. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, dude. A lot of saber rattling going on, you know, using headlines and I don't know, airplanes.
Lots of negotiations.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, give it a couple of weeks. It'll be a new headline. You can't, like you said, you can't. It's hard to turn. It's hard to turn. These contracts were made like years ago.
Yeah. Let's see. Corvette World Rob. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. So this is the first that I've seen is you got the MH139 up, Doug? So I came across this on Instagram today. I have no validation of it whatsoever other than this video that you will see here shortly. Can you play it back from the beginning? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Nope, that's not the beginning. Hit refresh. We were befuddled by the technology. Check out this drop video, dude.
Now, drop videos like this guy's.
You can turn the music off. We're going to get demonetized if you don't. It is the longest landing video. They picked the most boring thing they could possibly find for this poor kid to tell him he is flying the Gray Wolf.
Yeah. Drop night is the night you find out what you're going to fly out of pilot training.
Correct. Yeah, this is where you find out. Look at it. They're like, what is it? I don't know.
Right.
If I'm making this drop video, it's Airwolf.
Yeah.
I'm just showing a picture of Airwolf.
They should have used your teaser.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
It's a good looking helicopter, but this is what Airwolf would have been if the government contractors that were the villains in the show had won.
Yeah. Look, there's a Navy guy up there. Look at that. Where is this? What base is this? Pilot training, aviation, Air Force?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I saw
that's cool.
Montana.
No, there's no pilot
There's
training.
no,
base
there's
in
no
Montana.
pilot training.
Maybe he's been dropped. Maybe that's where the unit is.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing in Montana.
Hold on.
Maelstrom. Yeah, I guess that is Montana.
Look at that, dude.
Maelstrom. I didn't know they had them up there. It's a global
Wow.
strike base. I mean,
Well,
great.
congrats
cool,
to him.
cool helicopter. Boeing kind of Boeinged it. It's stuck with its own problems. It's kind of a lame video. Like if I'd have found something, it would have probably been more exciting than just a dude doing a landing on a hill. But
Well, I don't know. I think it's because the Air Force despises helicopters, and probably who makes those videos, Mover? Who makes the drop videos?
the class,
The class or
flight
the
commander,
IPs?
the flight commander, yeah, the IPs or whatever.
Yeah, they're probably like, oh, this poor nerd's going to fly helicopters. Let's find just the most boring.
No, because in the Air Force, you guys in the Navy have this weird hate for helicopter pilots. In the Air Force, at least in the last 15 to 20 years, it's been dudes that go fly helicopters requested it.
Right.
Like
that's where it comes in. Dudes and dudettes in the Navy usually don't request it, but that's what they go fly.
But I mean, you got to think about it. If you're in the Air Force, and that was probably a Rucker drop. That's probably not even a UP. It's not. It's absolutely not. That is not UPT. That is from Fort Novasil. So it's the, I don't know, I guess they still call it UPT, but that was a drop video because you can't drop a MH-139 from a T6. So that was from that's a class full of people that were flying the Huey.
That's right.
Before. So these are all people that already wanted the helicopter, and the choices were, Fat Wendy, the CSAR helicopter, or Pave Hawk, which I guess that's the same helicopter, except Fat Wendy's just bulkier. The new one, the HH-60G or whatever. And then that's it. MH-139 or that. So you're either going to go fly the Pedro mission or you're going to go fly Global Strike stuff. I mean, it's a cool helicopter.
Are they active duty?
Mm-hmm. That was an active duty.
Was it?
The reserves only have the training mission.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think that I think Maxwell unit has started putting out board stuff. Like I think they just had a board in July for kids off the street in anticipation. But the way that usually works, especially for a schoolhouse, is they hire you, they send you to pilot training, they get you qualified in the aircraft, and they send you off to like F.E. Warren or one of the MH-139 bases to get seasoned. And then once you have enough hours to be an IP, then you come back and go through the IP upgrade, instructor pilot upgrade there. But I just thought it was funny because it's like the worst hype video I've ever seen. Like, here's your slow landing.
Look at it hover.
Dude, there's so much better video.
There is, yeah. You know what? You should just send them your teaser. Be like, hey, listen, for the next one, use some of this.
Airwolf, just
Airwolf.
It really is though. That helicopter is so cool. If it weren't Boeing,
and we love Boeing, Mover.
Love Boeing, and we're not suicidal.
Yeah, you don't want to take an unscheduled nap, sir.
Yeah, but we think Boeing could have maybe done better on that one. Anyway, are we doing Lord Weed Killer, or are we just going straight to the mental health minute because it's time?
Yeah, probably. I mean, either way, it's being it's covered, right? Per
What
your
is this
pre-show
from? Where did
brief.
this come from? This is new.
Gonky said that, and I thought I should keep it.
That's a Navy thing.
Where is the surviving bad leadership? Okay, Lord Weed Killer. So I embedded this one in the thing. Doug, do you have that? No, we're not going to show it. We're not going to show
Yeah,
it.
it's up.
I don't want to. We're trying to get a bigger picture. I saw a thing about a certain wing commander that his first edict was, we got to kill some weeds, right? And they're like, if you can't find weed killer, pull the weeds yourself, 12 o'clock high style, which is interesting because I think you need like a, what do they call it? MSDS. Like there's some chemicals and stuff. You're probably going to end up in a class action lawsuit with Roundup.
Just
and
up
it
your
gives you
VA.
cancer. Yeah. The point being, it was not well received. And Gonky, you and I have been subject to some atrocious leadership.
Yes.
Some we've had, and I've seen that show up on day one and they try to make a stand. They try to like, here's the foot down. We're going to be disciplined. And often it is not well received because of how the presentation is. You know, in our case, it was a guy whose call sign was war spelled backwards because he's the last guy you'd want to go to war with. And he lived up to his call sign because the first thing he told us at 5 o'clock on a Friday was that we're all a bunch of entitled reservists and that stops now, which blanket generalizations generally do not work to motivate people. And in general, people are motivated one of two ways, either a positive reinforcement where you give some kind of reward, or a negative where you give some kind of punishment. And I think when we talk about whether it's good leadership, bad leadership, the first thing you do is you have to step back and look at it objectively. Is the person doing it for a reason that we don't know? Is this something that maybe we're not getting the full picture and they have method to their madness and it's deserved? Like, do I deserve what's happening? Or is it completely undeserved and this person is the last person you'd want to go to war with and essentially creating a toxic work environment? Because as it's been said before, people don't quit bad jobs, they quit bad bosses. And that's what they are. They're bosses. They're not even leaders at that point. But so how do you get through that? And it reminds me of when I was first interviewing for a pilot slot at an A-10 unit. And one of the guys asked me, he goes, hey, so what happens if you're downrange and you don't agree with what's going on? And, you know, you think it's an unjust war, you really shouldn't be there, but we're telling you, you got to go fight. And my answer was, at that point, you're fighting for the guy next to you. You're in the foxhole with your bro, and that's your war at that point. I mean, it's the common story of the Vietnam War, a lot of parts of Afghanistan and Iraq, where it was just, you're not fighting for the bigger picture, you're fighting for daily life. And we saw that. We had some pretty toxic active duty leadership initially in T-38 land that caused the squadron to get very cohesive because the bro level became an us versus them. We did what we had to do to accomplish our mission and to insulate ourselves from that level of toxicity. When that flipped to being our own leadership, it became a little bit more difficult because now you can't insulate quite as easily, but that bond stays the same. And when I look back now, having done some of the nerd staff stuff, I look at some of the actions and some of it, I go, you know what? In hindsight, I understand these actions. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the presentation of it, but I understand the why, not necessarily the execution of it. And I think as we go through stuff like that, it's important to rely on our support network, which is each other, and to kind of take that objective look and kind of debrief it for ourselves, because you're never going to change them. You're not going to change somebody that's already got that in mind and they're going to do what they're going to do, but you can survive it. You can get through it. And that survival is through that support network and kind of understanding it objectively, going, what are they trying to do? Are they just doing it poorly? Or is it something else? And knowing you've got resources available, not just your friends, not just military one source, which we'll always talk about, not just, 988 stuff like that, but now you've got actual resources. You've got, IG, EO, other ways to do it. Now, Should that be your first line of defense? No, you should always use your chain of command, and you should always use the proper resources available to you locally using, your immediate leadership. And if that person is your immediate leadership, then you've got the opportunity to go and ask for advice elsewhere. But I think the idea of that surviving the bad leadership is to understand it and then just fight around it until you can outlive them, because eventually you will outlast them. You stay in the military long enough, you're going to outlast the worst leaders. And then eventually you'll get some really great ones, like we've learned in the twilight of our career. What do you think, Gonky?
Yeah, man, you hit a lot of good topics, or a lot of good points there. So I mean, I just add, I guess, a couple things. I mean, we did have some really, really toxic, bad crap leadership.
PTSD over here.
Yeah, real bad. So, Mover, you're looking at it primarily from a military standpoint, but it could be, bad leaders exist everywhere. I mean,
True.
When I worked at the pizza shop when I was in high school, we had one manager that was like, "Are you serious?" Right? So it just makes life miserable, kind of thing. So as I've gotten older and just had to deal with a variety of different leadership styles and people, you learn as part of experience. But for me, I mean, not to Bible thump or nothing, but as a Christian, I always keep in the back of my mind when I'm experiencing what I perceive as bad leadership is, no one's perfect, even myself. And it's very hard. Sometimes I have to do it every day, multiple times a day, but I always try to forgive them and move on, because the real butt kicker with bad leaders, in my mind, happens long after whatever happened, because if you let something like that eat at you, it will continue to drag you down. And Mover, you touched on a little bit, the bros, right? All of us who were getting railroaded,
guys and girls. I mean, it's gender neutral,
right? We bonded, right? So you look for areas that you can improve in, that your team can improve in, and you focus on that. Meaning, you control what you can control. You have the ability in your immediate surroundings to make this the best working environment possible. So do that. Hey, we had terrible leadership, but guess what? When it was me, Mover, and Bullet, and Shots all doing a red air flight, we had a great time, and we got everything done. We got done safely, effective, and we had a blast, right? So, you can still focus on being better. And I always think that, if you're able to forgive, and show that grace, it's actually you taking the high road, and that might help in the future, right? Because sometimes, not always, sometimes I think these leaders that we have there's something wrong upstairs. Sorry. But, for some, I've met some people that just didn't know, right? Just didn't know. And sometimes you show them a little bit of grace and they come around a little bit. But other than that, Mover, everything you said was spot on, man. Doug, what do you think?
I think it's interesting to hear you guys talk about topics like this, because having spent most of my life in the public sector, and Moore and I actually talked about this. I always kind of had this fantasy that if I was in the military, I could tell people what to do and I wouldn't have to put up with all this crap. And then I hear you guys going through the same stuff I'm going through. The only thing I would add, and you guys can tell me whether this is applicable in your situation or not. For me, it's often been, and Gonky, you were in the Navy, which stands for never again volunteer yourself. So maybe that's the answer.
Valid.
For me, more than once, the answer has been take a leadership role. If you can't beat them, join them, or maybe you can fix it from the inside. But sometimes that's an option. And then in the meantime, take care of your people, know what your job is, do your job, get as many things right as you can to cut down on the ammunition that they have. And if they're not, like you said, touched in the head, sometimes that helps too.
Doug, that's an excellent point that, I've thought about this as I've gone through, some of the processes with the stuff we went through, stuff I went through specifically. And then coming out of that, coming to the other side, I've talked about how that 2022, 2023 time made me a better cop, right? Which in some ways is a leadership role. I would argue it is, because, you know, when you're out in public, you're leading, you know, whether
Yeah.
you're on a traffic stop or an
whether you want it
emergency,
to be or not, people
yeah,
look at you.
you're leading these situations where you're trying to get people resolutions to their problems. And then as, you know, an IG, that gave me even more perspective, right? Because I'm the guy that people complain to, and it's my job to professionally, you know, listen. It's not always going to be the answer that they want, but understand both, because we always say we're the unbiased, neutral fact finder. So I can't just, you know, listen to it and go, oh man, that, you know, I want to get them too. And then you look at the rule book and you're like, whoa, well, okay, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that. But in that experience as well, and having worked directly with commanders and leaders and stuff like that, it kind of gave me that perspective from the other side that I didn't necessarily have the first time. You know, you spend most of your life as a minion, and then you get up to the, you know, the higher, you know, levels, and you're like, wait a minute, okay, now I can kind of see some of the limitations, because they're dealing with pressure from above too. You know, nobody's at the top. There's always pressure from somewhere. And so that gives you perspective. So the only thing you can do with that experience is exactly what you said, Doug, is when you get put in that position, if it does ever happen, or, you know, if it's something smaller or even a big leadership position, is to remember those lessons and go, I don't want to be that. You know, I may not be able to give people the answer that they want, because, you know, sometimes tough love is the answer, but I'm going to do it in a manner that's fair, and I'm going to communicate, because that communication piece is, I think, a lot of times what's missing, where they might have the whole picture, but they're only communicating a very small portion of that picture. But then they roll in 12 o'clock high style and go, well, you guys are all a bunch of dirtbags, you know, pull the weeds. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You know, if maybe we had communicated this a little bit better, everybody would be on board with the plan. So, you know, to me, that leadership piece is, when you get to that level, you're the head coach. You know, you're no longer just a player that's trying to win the game. You're a coach, and your job is to remove obstacles and make it easier for them to now win the game. And I think a lot of times people lose focus of that, and they think that they're just going to, you know, use the stick versus the carrot, which I think a blend of both is probably the answer.
I think you raised a really good point there too, with communication and having a social support network and having people to ask. I think, Gonky, you kind of hit on it too, that sometimes when you look at it from the leadership perspective, you realize they're kind of out there on their own, which doesn't excuse a lot of the stuff that happens.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be that person when you get the job. The first thing I did was call him. He was a judge, and I called him and said, now what? I'm in charge. Now what do I do?
There's always rule number one. Don't be a douche. It's easy. Be a human. Still be a human.
Yeah. I mean, the best leaders I ever had, I mean, number one, I trusted them with my life, and then I knew that they had my back. And some of these, some of them had chewed me out, but I deserved it. So like, still number one in my book, because guess what? Yeah, I was sleeping on alert, or whatever, right? So
you falling asleep somewhere? No, cocky.
Gets dude, when the nuke reactor's humming, you just right. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, Mover. I mean, somewhere along the lines, or somewhere in the process of becoming more senior, and I guess acquiring more leadership, if we're talking about the military, it seems that it changes people sometimes, right? So not always. I mean, I met some, pastoral weekend, I hung out with very senior peoples, and they were good.
Think about the best leaders we've had. And it's a very recent data set, so it's pretty easy to think about it. And think about what they all have in common versus what the worst had in common. Yeah. And it always boils down to caring about the people and not making it personal. When somebody screws up, it's not personal to them. It's hey, we didn't make this standard, let's fix it, versus you are the worst person on earth.
But to survive
well, and that's the mental health piece. When I once had somebody tell me that they knew, well, actually, I know of somebody who got a letter of reprimand and killed himself. I mean, that was their response to that, is, they got a letter of reprimand, which for those of you who don't know, in the officer corps in the United States Air Force, it's pretty much it. You're done.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to, it stays on your record for 10 years. It's very, 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 very hard to overcome. Very unlikely. And the wording of a letter of reprimand is not nice. It is usually very personal. And it is an official thing that says you did this in violation of this, and you are hereby reprimanded. You know, if you continue down this path, you know, your whole career, whatever, even though the reality is your career's over when you get it. And people and when you have something on official letterhead from somebody above you in the chain of command, if you are somebody that, you know, loves your country and loves your service, and you see that calls into question your entire experience to date, no matter how many years that is, that will affect you. And that kind of stuff causes people to take their own lives.
Yeah.
Unless you have a good support network, unless you have the ability to be resilient, and unless you have that drive to move forward.
Yeah. Oh man. Like I said, surviving bad leaders is you can't, I mean, you can't let them get their fangs into you. I mean, it's hard sometimes.
You gotta outlast them. I mean,
Yeah.
a friend of mine said
Yeah.
luck and timing. Timing, you know, you can have the bad timing where you end up in a position where the worst person in the world is your boss, and that ruins your path forward. Or you can have the best group of people, and you know, you just got lucky because that's where you were. I mean, but you can control how you react, and you can control how your circle of friends reacts.
That's right.
And just keep doing the mission.
Surviving really is a key word there. You just outlast them.
Yeah.
Or start a podcast.
as therapy.
You just start a podcast. That's the other option. Let's see. We got Corvette Roll Rob. We'll thank him
Thanks.
again. Ron says first donation for the mover Porsche 911 fund. Wombat's
Ron, thanks. You got a good start there.
Skid says don't belittle the problem. Too soon, Skid.
I know what you did there.
John says when you were made a leader, you weren't given a crown. You were given the responsibility to bring out the best in others. Jack Welsh. Yeah, I would say, you know, the whole Lee Iacocca lead, follow, or get out of the way. I really think you're supposed to get out of the way. Like your job is to get out of the way and get everything else out of the way too, because nothing inspires more confidence than knowing that your boss has your back. That is how people thrive, is knowing that they've got top cover, as long as it's legal, right? Don't be doing, you know, Gonky, don't take your motorcycle on any airplanes.
Whew. Maybe a little soon for that. A little soon for that, mover.
Lisa says, how do you deal with difficult co-pilots on the flight deck of your airliners? I've always been curious because you're stuck together. Amazing show once again. Thanks for all the laugh. I once had a captain that was like straight to the do not pair list because he was practicing. I want to say practicing. He was vying for a check airman job and thought he would practice on me. And finally, I just told him, look, dude, if it's not related to safety of flight, I'm just going to be over here. We really don't need to talk. Because like he got into the like quizzing and, you know, trying to do stuff. And I'm like, you're not, if it's all right with you, I'm just going to.
You should have been quizzing him. Like, okay, I'm going to ask the questions to see if you're check airman knowledge material. And then just come up like, how many rivets are on the.
he went for a lab break and he's like, he told the flight attendant, he's like, well, you're lucky. I'm not going to let you kiss me. And I'm like, who says that to people?
Yeah.
You know, just like one of the, like,
yeah,
straight to the
yes,
do not pair. But I don't know, Gonky, how do you deal with difficult captains? Do they even have that at your airline?
Lisa, I can honestly say I have never had this problem.
Okay.
I mean, everybody I fly with has been, it's a smaller cadre because it's not a large place, but
you're all suffering together.
We're all suffering together. Correct.
There you go, dude. You guys
misery loves
together.
company.
You banded together against the.
That's right.
Against all odds. Steven says, amazing show. Love how my post worked into a segue to an article. See?
Thank you.
We're here for you.
That's right.
One show, dude, what we ought to do is just not show up with
No
any
topics.
and just let people guide us.
Yeah. We're
That'll-
getting there.
Doug will be pretty busy.
I have good internet now, though.
Yeah.
It's the
Doug
answer
will
to
be pretty
everything.
busy pulling up articles, but
That's awesome.
hey, Brian. Brian says supervising mid-20s Grand Theft Autos for teaching labs mistakes happen. You think that's what GTA means?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Mid-20s GTAs for teaching labs mistakes happen. Lots of faculty will throw those kids under the bus. I don't do that. We look at it as a group and how we all contribute, not do it again.
Yeah.
What do you think a GTA is?
I don't know, but the gist here is basically learn from your mistakes, man.
Yeah, don't throw
I'm
the.
hoping Brian will tell us.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I think it's Grand Theft Autos.
That's what I thought initially. Then I was like, oh wait, this has to do with leadership.
Graduate teaching assistant.
There we
Now it
yeah,
makes
nice.
sense.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Samsonite,
It
dude.
never occurred to me that a guy in a race car would be a college dude.
Look at that. Oh yeah, right.
Impossible. John says, also from experience, let your quality and hard work speak for itself. Bad leaders will be called liars by those who really know you.
Yeah.
It's hard in the flying world because perception becomes their own reality. And if they get this idea, they will tell people that you are not the tip of the spear, despite having no direct evidence of any such things. Or they themselves being the tip of the spear, you know. And they're the blunt end of the fattest spear you've ever seen.
It's more of a bat you bludgeon people with.
Yeah. The wiffle ball bat is what they've
That's right.
become. Anyway, I think we've got gained a lot of ground here today.
That was good. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for showing up. I mean, I like your idea of one show, just no topics, just straight from the hip, dude.
Yeah.
We have to advertise it. Like bring your stumpers. Like,
oh, dude, don't say stumpers because they will stump us.
well,
But that's
it'd
okay.
be fun.
Especially if it's for super chats.
Well, we need to do that when we've got Mombat on.
We need to have a smart guest.
2
on.
topics.
Dude.
It limits the amount.
We'll have Sean Cross on. All right.
We
One
do have
question.
him on. Do you want to get him on next week? See if he's available.
Yeah, we can see, dude. He might be busy. There's a storm brewing.
Well, he can give us the breaking news. There's a storm.
I had the wipers on full blast.
Dude, don't bully your own unit. Come on, man.
Nah, I gotta let him know I did motorcycle safety, right? So now I'm good.
What?
He's the safety guy. Sorry, he's the guy.
Okay. All right. Well, dude, the turkey guy's not here again.
That's right.
I hope the government didn't get him for you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. They found out he was supporting the man who bullies the
Iscat?
large country of Turkey.
His name is.
I just hope he's okay. He
Was it
talked about
Iscat?
health
Assat.
problems.
No,
Assat.
Assat
you
a
can't say
car.
scat. You can't Assat.
Assat.
A car.
Yeah. Hey, if you're listening,
We
like,
missed
chime in. Let us know you're okay.
Blink twice.
I didn't.
Send us
Maybe
the
he's
signal.
the dictator now.
Ooh. He is funny. Yeah.
No, that was that unhinged army dude.
Yeah.
Remember he got hammered last time and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
next week, same
Hilarious.
time, different topics.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Next, folks.